passing that game. We actually thought RECCA was going to be able to win that one, but MVP came away with the victory here. So it's a 2-2 in terms of the split there in the regular season of Zen League for RECCA and MVP. How are you feeling this one's going to start to shape up, Sonic?
Yeah, it's an interesting one coming into it. I think they both had convincing first games. I think RECCA more so than MVP, but you know, like coming into this game, it's definitely the two best teams in the event coming into the grand final. But the thing that what Pilly just talked about, how it's interesting that Bintet said that they've been practicing against each other a lot, and that obviously it adds this next level layer of mind games. You know, RECCA picking up those first two maps and then MVP picking up the next two maps on different map pools. It really lays the groundwork of a really interesting video and an interesting best of three prospect for this game.
It definitely does look like
this game. It's definitely the two best teams in the event.
Well, start our upper bracket finals off. But let's have a look at RECCA Esports.
The thing that what Pilly just talked about, how it's interesting that Bintet said that they've been practicing against each other a lot, and that obviously it adds this next level layer of mind games. You know, RECCA picking up those first two maps and then MVP picking up the next two maps on different map pools. It really lays the groundwork of a really interesting video and an interesting best of three prospect for this game.
It definitely does look like
this game is definitely the two best teams in the event.
Well, start our upper bracket finals. So let's have a look at RECCA Esports. Start to the tournament 2-0 over Dark-sided, 16-2 on Mirage, 7-8 on Cage. There were a few standout players.
Next level layer of mind games.
Yeah,
you know, RECCA picking up those first two maps and then MVP picking up the next two maps on different map pools. It really lays the groundwork with a really interesting video and an interesting best of three prospect for this game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time we did see esports, exactly like you said, like not just one person stepping up, but then if someone wasn't having a great round, Extra was there, or Bentet was there, or Sis was there, Frost Misty was there, even Rosu, who's typically the more quieter of the five, had some very, very good rounds.
Yeah, it's kind of just a funny thing, like watching this game. Like I think Sniper was like talking about it. You know, like Ben said on Mirage, he had like 30 kills, and at this point in time, like I was kind of in the same boat. Where it's like you're watching the game and you're like, oh, Bentet's having a quiet one, and then someone pressed tab and you're like, he's got 30 kills, you know, and like that's the level that he's at this moment. Where it's like, you know, you get 30 frags and you think it's a slow game from him.
I think that's the kind of the analogy that I felt about the entire game in general, though. Like I sort of was watching that game, and then I looked down, checked Twitter, and then I looked back up, and RECCA's on 15 rounds, and I'm like, what? Where did that come from? And so I wonder if we're going to be seeing that coming out here against MVP. Do you feel as though MVP is going to have a bit of a better shot against RECCA here than what Dark-sided did?
I mean, they will be more familiar with RECCA than Dark-sided were. They definitely have a lot more depth of preparation. They rely much more heavily on their tactical, you know, ground rather than their individual skill. They rely on their preparation and that sort of unknown factor, which is going to be a little bit more neutralized against a team like RECCA. So they're going to have to really be smart about this. They're going to have to isolate the things that make RECCA a strong team, and then try to catch them off guard with a map pick, or take it to RECCA on one of their own maps because they're so familiar with them.
All right, well, let's have a look at their opponents today. It is going to be MVP PK.
MVP PK boasts one of the most historic lineups in CS history, with the South Korean 1.6 heroes joining forces once again to demonstrate the sheer will and testament that is inherent to Korean esports. A shaky start to the season was promptly forgotten as MVP PK surged forward to take the rest of their games undefeated. These veterans will now be looking to continue their resurgence with more victories down under. MVP PK.
Last time this team faced up against RECCA Esports, it was 2-0 in the favour of MVP PK, though admittedly it was two best of ones, not a best of three. But this is definitely a star-studded roster, isn't it?
Yeah, like I think we highlighted Zeph coming into that game, and while he didn't play bad, I think he played pretty solidly. I think Solo was kind of the standout player with that AWP. He kind of started picking it up more and more. And coming into this series, I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic of Solo against Execute. You know, I think that it's kind of like two different sides of a coin. Again, MVP are more strat orientated, and I think that a lot of their players are a lot more drilled than what we saw of RECCA. Although that, not as big of a discrepancy as what it was against Immunity, but I think that Solo up against Xcured, who was really firing early on in that Mirage game with that op, I think he was kind of dictating the pace. I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how Solo goes up against Xcured. I think that's going to be a really important matchup in this game.
Yeah, definitely is going to be quite interesting here. But like we said earlier on, I mean, MVP, if the AWP isn't necessarily working out too well for them, they're quite happy to just drop back to those 5 rifles or even put the AWP in the hands of Zeph. It's quite a dynamic team in that sense, so would not be hugely surprised to see a lot of these changes coming out from MVP PK should they need to do it. RECCA, they don't really have a secondary AWP, or I suppose Bentet does every now and then pick up the secondary AWP, but speaking enough there about the players, how are we starting to think these map pools might start to play out? Because we have seen these teams play each other in the Zen League. They didn't sort of double up on any map, so we saw the four maps played, and none of them were the same map that we've seen previously. So how are you feeling like we're going to start to see things happening here, Pilly?
I feel like they're going to have to play to their strengths in terms of their style as a team. You're going to have to see MVP go towards the more tactical-based maps. So they're going to want to go to... I don't think they play Overpass very much, but I'm not sure. But they're going to definitely have to go towards a train or perhaps a nuke against RECCA as their pick, depending on what RECCA chooses to ban out. And then... towards the third map, they might be lucky to get something like an Inferno, which they've prepared a fair bit on, it looked like. And but we'll see whether RECCA will let that through or choose to play them on a cache, maybe something that they played a little bit more. On
the topic of Inferno, we did see them playing that, and it went 16-9 in the favour of MVP PK. After seeing them playing it on it today as well, how do you feel like Inferno might be working into the map pool here, Sonic?
Yeah, I think it will likely be MVP's pick coming into this. I think that they were confident on it against Immunity, and I think that having the past history of them being able to win against against the other team on Inferno, I think that it'd be likely to for them to play that. I think that Cobble is also going to be a really likely pick for RECCA, because if you've just seen them, you've lost Mirage against them in the past. You see them come in. Blitz Darkside out of the gates, Bentet firing. I think it'd be stupid for them to not take that map away, and I think that you're going to see RECCA fall back onto that Cobblestone pick, and which kind of like lays them into that Inferno pick, because I think that they won't want to play Nuke, or it's possibly that they could ban Inferno too.
Well, let's see if you're going to be right here, Sonic, and bring up those vetoes here. First ban is going to be Mirage from MVP, so good choice there. RECCA taking away Nuke. Anything too surprising for you, Pilly?
I mean, they've both seen each other play it, and those were two of the more convincing maps that they played only today. I mean, disregarding practice and just looking at what happened strictly today, both teams have made smart bans in terms of just going, these guys were the best on that map in that series, so we'll just ban it.
Alright, well, we've seen the two bans now. Let's see if we can bring up the picks. Inferno going to be the first pick there from MVP. And Cobblestone, the pick from RECCA. I'm not sure. Did you cheat before this, Sonic?
Nah, I think it's just a simple way to look at it. I think that they're both confident coming into those maps, and I think that the bans kind of play into the way that the pick phase is going to be working. Because I think that if you look at this, like Inferno was the map that they won, but I don't think that they could let Nuke open, and it kind of just plays into this. I think they're both really confident coming into their map picks, but I think that it's actually in MVP's favour here at the moment. I think with Cobble coming in, I think it's actually one of their strongest maps too. Even though they've had some difficulties in the past against RECCA, I think that they'd be happy with this.
Alright, well, we'll find out now what the next two bans are going to be. Cache is the first from MVP. Overpass picked or banned away by RECCA, which means Train is the final map in the pool, and that is the one that RECCA did lose 16-13 to MVP when they faced each other the second time in the Zen League. But if I remember correctly, RECCA got off to a pretty good start in that one, so I think that one, if we do get to Train, could be pretty close.
I think if I looked back on the most recent matchup head-to-head of them, I think MVP took them on Train. So it should be pretty interesting. It's a bit more of a tactical map. They're definitely getting down to sort of their second or third or fourth best maps as teams instead of playing their very best. So each team sort of neutralize the other team's best maps, and they're looking to sort of take them on a middle ground. If MVP's as prepared as they should be, they should have known that RECCA would pick Cobblestone against them, and we know that they have shown tendencies to play it in the past, and they have even lost to RECCA on it before, so we'll see if they've done their research and learned from their mistakes in the past.
Having seen that third map coming out now for both the teams, Sonic, do you feel like either team has got an advantage here now after we've seen those maps come out?
Well, I think that this veto kind of plays into the hand of MVP more than I think RECCA. I think that these three maps are kind of like the more strat orientated, like harder for you to pug if you take away those caches, Mirage, where it's more aim orientated. I think that this kind of plays into their playstyle a lot more. Inferno, Cobble, Train, they're all maps so you can kind of slow down the pace on your T side, do those executes, have those rounds really planned out, and it's a lot harder for the CT side or the T side to kind of break up your game plan. But I just think that the quality in RECCA is going to be too much for them just coming into this match.
What about you, Pilly? Are you thinking maybe that the firepower here on RECCA, the individual skill, is going to be a little bit too much for MVP to deal with?
Yeah, I agree with Sonic. I think it'll be a little bit too much for them to deal with, but I'm looking to hopefully be excited for some more competitive games because we've got MVP being a little bit more familiar with what to expect from RECCA and having them a bit more in their comfort zone, which should give them a better chance than they would normally have to take the series.
So do you think there's a possibility here for MVP to have a pretty good game up against RECCA? Like, I mean, we've seen some decent individual performances from MVP. Are they going to be able to stand up against the firepower that Bentet and Xcure are going to bring?
Yeah, definitely. I think Inferno is a great way to start. I think it's, like you saw them against Immunity. I think that early on you saw on their T side, which I'm guessing they're going to be starting out on that T side, and Inferno, seeing as it's their map pick. It's very easy on your T side to Inferno to have those Molotovs, those grenades, those flashes to shut down the early aggression. You can kind of shut Bentet and that out of the game early on and get yourself in a position where you can execute, and they're less impactful than than on maps like Cage. It's a lot harder to shut down those star players, but on an Inferno game, if they can come out of the gates, get the pistol round or possibly get the first gun round, and then create a system in which they're mulling top nana, shutting down all the avenues for those guys, Bentet, Execute, to get those picks. I think they can get themselves a foothold in the game, get confident, and then they can come into that Cobblestone game with that kind of same mentality.
Do you think that's going to be enough there if they do move over to Cobblestone with that 1-0 advantage? Because Cobblestone, the last time we saw these two teams face each other, RECCA just absolutely destroyed MVP on that one. It was like they were running in and walking all over them.
Yeah, I think that speaks more to MVP's sort of form at the time than it does to their actual ability to play the map. We'll see. They should have known that they would play it in this series if they plan to always ban Mirage, especially after watching play Dark-Sided, so they've obviously got a plan for it. If they never played Cobble, it would make a little bit more sense to sort of go to a Mirage if you're counter-striding pretty hard or you're watching another team play a map and then sort of trying to counter how they play it out. But if you're aware that you just want to take out the Mirage and you know that you're familiar with RECCA, you know what maps they like to practice, you played against them multiple times before, you should have a pretty good idea of how to approach Cobble and at least make it competitive. It shouldn't be another blowout. That just doesn't make sense.
All right, well, we've broken down the maps a little bit there. Now I want your predictions. Sonic, starting with you.
I'm going to go 2-1 to RECCA. I think that MVP are going to be able to close out their map pick on Inferno, but I think that Cobble is just one of those maps where Bentet Execute, they can just run over it. Bully plat, bully down drop, and it's just going to be too much for them to handle.
All right, what about you, Pilly?
I'm going to go 2-0 for RECCA.
2-0 for RECCA?
Yep.
Why is that?
I just think that their form overall is just a lot better. They didn't really convince me against Immunity. They struggled a little bit on Inferno. They had to make several adjustments, and I just think that's not really going to be enough when you have players like Bentet, with that kind of firepower completely just bullying you out of the game. If you make an adjustment, they can just make a smaller adjustment that just involves, one player throwing utility for Bentet and him getting a multi-frag or something like that.
All right, well, I'm going to agree with you. I think it's going to be 2-0 here for RECCA. They looked like the stronger side so far today, but we're going to find out. Let's hand it over to our casters, Karath and Brainstorm.
Tim.
Hello.
Tim.
Good opening.
Tim.
Well done.
No, you meant to say my name.
Kevin.
Yes, that's better. How you going?
That was a really strong start. I'm glad we kicked off like that.
Yeah, you didn't catch on, man. I was
Sorry.
like Tim, and you just like, hi. Tim, hi. Tim, hi.
Yeah,
Tim,
no,
hi.
we just heard it.
Yeah.
People were listening. They know. Either way, MVP versus RECCA are actually going all the way back to the very first week of Zen League, which I believe we actually casted when these teams met up. For the first time, it was all the way of RECCA at that point. I believe it was a 16-3, 16-5, something like that. So MVP got it handed to them a bit, but
It was effectively, it was on a scale of RECCA just what they did to Darkside, they did do towards MVP PK very early on in the season. But different storylines now, obviously, considering everything. It's a LAN environment. MVP PK starting on Inferno. This is a little bit of a more known quantity. RECCA Esports would have done their homework against what happened earlier on, and Zeph is just going to be taken out. They're using the same strategy. They're coming straight up towards Nana. And this time around, though, it's not instantly shut off. I mean, they've got one pick, but Frost Misty is dinked out already.
down on 5 HP. Now, the last time these two teams played each other on this map, it was 16-9 in favor of MVP. So good signs for them coming into this one. But they still need to wrap up things here. And they've already lost the first player in this pistol round, so not the easiest of starts for them. Very good read from Recca to get that double grenade down Banana as well. Shut out the early aggression from MVP. They are going back over towards Banana now. This A player, I believe it's Perry there, is just trying to make some noise, trying to fake him out as the rest of his team are not here.
This is the exact same strategy they used against Immunity earlier on in the pistol round. They just have that one person lurking late, and then the rest of them hit Nana, a single smoke grenade towards, I believe it is CT. And it's just up to Recca to see how well they can shut it down, because the two members on B side do not have body armor. They invested in that grenade. Xcurit's actually got the kit as well. And you see he's just nervously dancing around at the moment. He knows that they're coming in, and there you have it. Solo's going to be leading the charge. There's the smoke towards CT, but the boost has come out from Frost Misty already. And they are trying to cross, but Frost Misty's going to tap away. It's alright. He's done a little bit of damage. He's bought time for his teammates, but Xcurit couldn't get enough kills across the board. And now Bentet, he's close by. The bomb has been lost, but it's been picked up now. And Bentet still trying to find a pick, but they're all so low right now. And the CTs have the numerical advantage, and the bomb is not down.
Bomb is going down now, but Sis could actually shut this thing down. Not quite. He's not going to get there, but he should.
Oh, Termi.
Oh, Termi finds two. All right. Leaves it all up to Sis. 1 versus 3. 2 players low. Very doable for Sis. Still has time as well as that bomb is only freshly planted. That makes it easier. Finds the high HP player, but Glow too sharp. Finds a headshot, and out of nowhere, really on the back of Termi, finding a whole lot of kills. MVP take the pistol round.
Yeah, sick 2 headshots, especially shutting down the danger player in Bentet. And Sis could not convert the kills of already the low HP members. And Recca are going to invest straight in towards this round. Just looking towards Xcurit's buy. That's going to be a deagle, which means that they're not going to be able to buy the AWP in the 3rd round, or 4th round, should I say, unless Xcurit gets a few kills. And that might be a little bit risky. So it's going to be all rifle setup when it comes towards the first buy. And MVP PK just be looking to add towards their bank account.
To build a bit of money. Termi will be hanging back. Doesn't want to get too many kills with that AK unless he absolutely has to. Rather his teammates do it. Rack up, as you said, a bit of cash. There is pistols out for the CT side here. They can do some damage. That smoke is well off. There's a second one, actually. Okay, that was intentional. Xcurit will have to fall back through that one. Goes back into Con. Help his teammates on site, but there's 4 players here moving very, very quickly for MVP. Frost Misty's in a rough spot. Misses the shot. Gets taken down by Glow. Looks like it's going to be a bit more of the same happening now as Recca move out, or MVP, I should say, move out and take the side.
And Bentet's just playing around the edge of the smoke. What? He's actually found the timing through. Oh, he doesn't get a kill, but Zeph does manage to get a team kill, which still is a net positive at the end of the day. Still gets 300 because he got the pick on towards Bentet, so it's not too bad.
That's a really early pause from Recca.
I'm assuming it might be a tech issue.
Yeah.
From Recca, maybe something's
have to
happened.
be.
But regardless, MVP will be able to get the first 2 rounds under the bag.
Attack.
And they're actually taking... So... Rosius is just saving the weapons, which is not a bad decision. You've got body armor, you've got CZs. You can keep them until the next round, see if you can do damage.
Got head armor too, actually, so they can sit all the way back here and just save
Yeah,
these
Recca don't know how to call a pause because they've never needed to call a pause.
They literally just rolled over everyone. They rolled over Darksided that hard that they didn't actually need a pause, so hopefully they'll figure it out. I think it's through the actual vote menu, so
yes,
I'll
but
find it.
or either that or one of the admins will do it. So very early on, you know, MVP early lead, which is expected after the pistol round.
There we go.
Otherwise, not much to talk about.
It's that pause. Doesn't look like there's... I'm not really seeing anyone who looks like they have a massively blatant issue. Maybe Bentet trying to figure something out over there, but look, it's not a tactical pause, which is good, because I'd be worried if I took a tactical pause after 2 rounds.
Yeah, there's no need to. I mean, they're not
Not
too
at all.
phased. It's just pistol round. All right, pistol rounds can go either way. And then they're just going to go, all right, buy around what we're going to do. We don't have the AWP. Are we going to play passive? How did MVP play against IM? Who knows?
I'll be able to
Because,
figure it
like, how MVP played that pistol, it just makes me feel like, okay, if they pick Inferno, like, one more time, they have to really bring something serious to the board. Otherwise, they run the serious risk of being counter-stratted tomorrow when they play. If they, regardless of they win or lose, they'll be looking to pick up Inferno once again.
Yeah.
And if they pick up Inferno, they run that same pistol strat, teams will start sitting up and taking notice. First couple of maps, it's not really elimination. Winning this one's going to be absolutely great because it just means you're going to have a cruisy day tomorrow, and Frost Misty is going to be picked off with early nades down Nana. This is pretty much a throwaway round for Recca. If they can get a few guns, yeah, awesome.
I don't see them really getting too much done, though, unless they can find some sneaky timing through smokes again. MVP really like that double nade into CT there. I think one of them was a Molotov and there was a smoke. There's flashbangs as well. They've got themselves completely covered off. Xcurit finds a dink, and again, there's a team. Was that the same combo of players? Zeph killing Glow with a MAC-10?
It's just generally Zeph just killing one of his teammates, which is unfortunate, but that's how the MAC-10 crumbles.
I guess it is, and now Rosy is challenging Banana, gets taken down. Perry, long range with the MP7. Sis is down there as well, but at this point is just waiting for players to run into him, wants some cheeky exit frags. Nice shot there onto Perry. Laser beam of bullets straight into his head. Shouldn't be able to get the gun though. Yeah, there's already another player here. It takes a little bit of time for Tommy to clean it up, but clean it up he will. That round was a bit of a non-event for RECCA. They did get 2 kills, but not much more than that.
Here come the rifles, and Excurate surely is not considering buying an AWP with no armor. He doesn't have, okay, he has enough money, but it's a risky decision which he's going to go for anyway. He's going to pull the trigger and buy the AWP. Only a single HE grenade, which means to play, if he does play towards Nana, he has to play a relatively more cautious line because MVP PK loved throwing so much utility early on. You can see just a lot of respect given towards MVP's early control, and he's just going to be sitting back a little bit.
Throws the HE and then falls back. Doesn't really get anything done with that. Actually, no damage at all. There was no one from RECCA. They fell up, from MVP, I should say. They pushed up Banana, they threw some early utility, they put a bit of pressure on, and then fell back immediately to avoid the counter grenades from RECCA. So well played by them. They bleed a little bit of utility out, and a little bit is all you need to bleed when RECCA have none available. They've only got 2 flashbangs left, and we're barely 30 seconds into this round. That's better, though. Bentet's going to find himself 2 kills. Doesn't matter about utility when Bentet's here. 2 kills are answered, though. Back into a 3 versus 3. Zeph is low. Could be caught up by this pick from Roshi. That's the bomb down as well. Good trade from Perry. 2 versus 2 now. Minute left to play with bomb site is open. Excurite's rotating in, looking through library. Molotov not quite going to block him off or force him back to flashbang Willow. That was excellent. Pop flash. Bomb goes down. Excurite's locked out.
And he didn't notice one actually crossing back in towards the side. So his guess is that there's still maybe possibly one default and one diggity. He's now spotted up Perry. They're just dancing around. His teammate is right next to him, and this is where Solo is going to shine because Perry is just dancing around. He's just being an absolute nuisance. And Frost Misty actually knows where Solo is and now knows where the last is. But oh, that's such a good transition coming out from Perry. There's a flashbang, so he's spotted out, but he's just going to peek before the flash pops. And MVP PK up to a 4-0 lead. It wasn't a full buy round, but this is a great start. They just got to keep up the momentum.
They do. I feel bad for Excurate there too, because he could see the head. He knew the player was there. He could have gone for the wallbang, but he wanted a shot that he knew he'd get the kill from, because the problem is, with an AWP in that position, especially in no armor, you take a shot, you're exposed instantly.
Well, even with armor, you take a shot, you're exposed.
Yeah, but you only get one chance when you're glass cannon like that, and that's not the way he really wanted that to go. It was a big investment for really minimal payoff, but it will be an eco from RECCA now. MVP take the first 4 rounds relatively easily. That's a lot of grenades. I think that was 4 grenades in total in Banana there.
All dodged.
Really no damage. What is that? 4 damage total done to everyone in the server?
Yeah, Solo and Termi both at 98. They're just barely tickled by it. Zeph's actually going to take a little bit more. And the round is just reset towards a much more slower passive round, which MVP PK love. It's so difficult to read what MVP are going to be doing, and that's like why they're able to take these rounds with such ease, because RECCA have no solid read of what's happening. MVP in one round could just be barreling up and just throwing nades and just pushing their way forward. This is very similar towards their Rap CT strat once again.
Rap strat, yeah.
Yeah, but Frost Misty is boosted up second, so he can spot it very well, and Bentet's actually picked up the blow. X-Spirit was waiting. They were waiting and countering on this strat. Zeph's through, Perry gets a pick, and then Zeph just cleans up with the Mach 10. No team kills this time. And Frost Misty, that is sharp from Zeph. 3 kills, so dangerous period navigated. RECCA Esports recognized what they were doing, but they couldn't do anything with the pistols to shut it down. And 5-0.
That was a really, really good read from RECCA, though. They saw those smokes come over. They were positioned, waiting for the wrap through construction. Something an MVP did a few times, and obviously they watched that Inferno game and decided to adapt to it. But unfortunately, they did get 2 kills out of it. It's no more than that. Zeph this time killing the enemies and not his teammates with that Mach 10. 2 players lost again for MVP, but they get the 5-0. Bar comes back in for RECCA, though. They've got an AWP. They have 4 M4s. There's an answering AWP on Solo. Termi will buy up an AK as well. So full buy round for both these teams. The difference is MVP have a lot more money left in the bank than RECCA do.
It can bleed out very quickly, though. So both sides wanted to try to at least string 2 rounds together. For MVP, they can drop 1. As long as they win the next one, they can break RECCA. For RECCA, however, they cannot win this one and lose 3 guns and then drop it, because it just means that MVP PK will just be in absolute control of the T side. And Solo, speaking of control, just picks up Excurate already. So there's the AWP lost. Not sure if it was through a gap in the smoke, if it was a chance shot. Regardless, it does force the rotation from Bentet back towards Nani. He picks up the AWP. And he's sneaky and challenging it as well, but Solo's just already left. MVP PK now lining up for that A side execute.
Only 2 players here, and they'll know that. You've got to rotate 2 players over, usually, unless you're going for a gamble stack in a 4-on-5 like this. So Should be a good situation here. That is a good... that was a grenade, not a... No, it was a Molotov, and Zeph's still going to push straight through it. Goodness gracious me. Doesn't work out for him, though, so back into a 4-on-4. Rotate is already on its way. Frost Misty is flanking all the way behind. Solo has no idea. The Rotate's already come in as well, and the RECCA have turned this round around. It's only Perry and Termi left to try and fight against 4 people. Termi makes it 3, but gets traded. 1 versus 3 for Perry.
Yeah, it's all to Perry. He's been touched once. Spotted out by Bentet, and Bentet won't miss that second shot. He picks up 2 with a retrieved orb earlier on towards Nana, and MVP just were unable to flood out of the position quickly enough. And instead of just massing up in numbers and taking the duels and making it work in their favor, they fall towards, you know, those one-on-ones, skirmishes, which RECCA Esports love to do. They can still buy back into this round. For RECCA, it was a pretty solid round. You know, losing 1-2 guns, yeah, you can still rebuy. Just don't drop it this round.
That was the one they really needed to get themselves back into the swing of things here. So now, business as usual for RECCA. They've got themselves a little bit of a buffer to work with in terms of the money. They've got themselves some guns. They just need to not lose too many when they take, or if they take this one. If they lose it, it's going to be rough. There's a Molotov over to help move up into Banana. Bentet playing back in CT. Frost Misty up on high. The crossfire is set. Frost Misty's also staring into his feet, playing an anti-flash position. Waiting for them to push in so he can try and catch them all out. Bit of a surprise so far, though. He's still getting their setup. Here they come. Executes out, smokes out, flashbangs out. Bentet throws a flashbang high and falls back. Frost Misty playing that anti-flash perfectly. Does get flashed in return, but gets away with 1 kill there. Looking for more. Glow's there with a trade, but Bentet, was that a jumping headshot from Glow? I think it might have been. Makes it a 2 versus 3. Perry has excellently timed this backstab assist. Just gets away, but now Perry's position is known. They know it's only Glow on the B-bomb site. Perry has to move quick to help his teammate.
Perry should be able to make it towards Nana just in time, and Glow still has a Molotov to shut down any CT retake. RECCA might have just taken a little bit too long. They know that Perry's either on the lurk or towards Nana. With that flashbang, they'll suspect that it is towards Nana, and Perry just locking down the Coffin's line. Excurate, you can see Excurate's aware of the Nana potential, and Glow's going to pick up another one. Perry's going to pick up Excurate Sis. Oh, he's in a bit of a tricky situation, has to use a Molotov, and Perry times it to perfection, and MVP. That's a reset and a half.
It is.
RECCA can still force up, but I don't think that's the best investment of their cash. They probably want to just buy basic pistols in this round. And this is the half that's effectively won for MVP already.
Yeah, basically. They're going to get themselves another round or even 2 here. That'll put them up towards 8. They'll be very happy with that. Yeah, it's just pistols out for the CTs, so really not too much they can hope for. They do have the 1 grenade on Frost Misty. I can only assume that will be sent fanging down Banana like they have pretty much every other time. It is indeed. Ooh, really good nade too. Big damage on Termi. Decent hit on Solo, but I don't think that damage on 2 players will be enough to clean up this round. However, I've seen weirder things in my time, especially casting Australian Counter-Strike. This, though...
Yeah, this is an Australian Counter-Strike
the anymore. The anti-ecos are generally a bit more properly done, I should say, in the Asian scene.
I was going to say, we're not casting any Australian Counter-Strike. That lost towards Asian Counter-Strike today.
It did.
We can light a candle in respect.
We can.
More in respect in terms of probably RECCA just blasted us pretty hard. IM versus MVP could have gone... You could argue the maps could have swung either direction, but at the end of the day, it still feels like the stronger team did come out on top, which is MVP, and they're showing why on Inferno, just absolutely just taking control systematically.
Little shoulder peeks there towards Rosyu to bait out some of his shots, and that's a problem. You don't want to be getting baited when you have a CZ, because you don't have that many bullets you can afford to just use wastefully. Now Zeph's here with the MAC-10, hopefully no more team kills. Instead he's going to die, and Excurate's through the smoke, has an AK-47, can make something of this. All right, 3 versus 2 now. Bomb it down. Glow will get himself 1 kill to recover things. That is the rifle gone as well. So it's just the CZs for Frost Misty and Bentet, but they have good positions. All right, Glow. And he's read the flank of Frost Misty. Great shot, though. Makes it into a 1 versus 1. This is a costly round for MVP no matter which way it goes. Perry will be able to put this bomb down. Frost Misty going to look to go through short. Smokes there from Perry as well. Got himself a good spot to play this one, but Frost Misty will be looking for this engagement, and no matter what, this is not a round that's gone the way that MVP wanted to. Not much time. Frost Misty trying to check his positions.
That's a really good smoke, because Frost Misty doesn't know whether Perry is crossed towards Graveyard or if he's actually just hiding towards Mini Pit. But as time is ticking away, he doesn't have a kit to work with, so he does have to get a move on. Does not know that Glow's towards back of sight. And Glow just waiting. All he had to do was sit at a particular angle and just wait for him to cross in towards it. It was a good round from RECCA, but they couldn't capitalize. Once again, it just feels like the story. They have a great start on so many of the rounds, but they can't capitalize, and this is a force buy.
That's
and a
it.
half.
That one was just a couple CZs and no armor. That could have so easily gone their way. That was just a very well played 1v1 by Perry with that smoke down.
Overall, though, I still feel like MVP is playing this T side a lot.
Oh, I 100% agree, but that last round was very costly for very minimal investment from RECCA. I think they would have spent about $2,500 total, if that.
But at the moment, investment's just not good enough. It's got to have to be converting themselves into rounds now, as
100%.
we're leading towards that halfway point of the half. MVP PK, control of apartments as well as boiler. And Bentet, this is just a firing spot towards DD line, and they're just getting lined up. So this is just a hard counter that's being played at the moment. Flashbang has come out, but they know where Perry is. He's lining up for the wall bang.
Who's considering it? That's
6 smoke grenade.
Smoke, which means it's going to smoke him off instead of denying the Molotov, which is what he wanted it to do. So now he's going to try and adapt to that situation. 1 versus 4. He's going to need himself a full ace here. Tip this one out. Flashbang out, pops above pit. Blinds anyone on the A side, but he's not going to push off the back of that. Instead, he's convinced that this flank will be coming around, and indeed it will be eventually. Spots out Execute, good movement. Can't win the fight, though. RECCA win another one.
Hard counted as well, just stacking 3 members towards DD. It was just a firing squad as soon as they all just came out. It just, I don't know, because did you watch much of like the first map between IM and MVP?
Yeah.
This just feels like MVP is just doing the same thing. It almost feels like a repetition. It just, RECCA are actually putting a little bit of effort in towards countering. So
that way.
It is. It's the exact identical where they try to like walk out a boiler for this one. There's no more smoke grenades. And then maybe, hopefully MVP can change things up because RECCA is starting to realize what they're dealing with. And they can still come back and make it an 8-7 half, which is serviceable. Considering that MVP were up 7-1.
Oh, yeah. It'd be fantastic if they can bring it back that far. The other thing that interests me as well is how much of banana control between these two teams is taken with HE grenades and without actual presence. I mean, pretty much every round, one team or other, or both, throws a couple of HEs there to deny the push, to deny the aggression. And it's worked.
This
MVP
feels
had to
like
take it late.
this feels like it's going to be a B-side hit, but towards maybe the 30-second mark after Noise made it A-side.
Yeah, there's 3 players towards A. Going to try and get a few picks if they can. And then that bomb, accompanied by one other person, will go over. They'll try and get the bomb down. Really, MVP, if they can put the bomb on the floor, get themselves a little bit of extra money, maybe
Could be a wrap towards CT because it is just a pistol round after all. So MVP have been broken just even off just a single round one from RECCA.
Bentet could just mob this whole thing. Nope, they decided to fall back from that. They're going to go over all of them towards A. And they've got to run into a lot of very, very automatic weapons.
They don't have any
Crossfire
smokes or
except-
flashbangs as
No,
well, which is
enough.
going to be so problematic. They have to get the pick on towards that second box position. Or overwhelm Execure, who's going to wide peek. They're in a
Crossfire.
very, very good close position, and well, they got a peek in together. That's actually a good first pick. Frost Misty has to count his bullets well, but they just run into the spray. Sick from Frost Misty. Good transfer on towards 2 other members, and dangerous round, but they do pick it up.
That was dirty from Frost Misty there. That first kill was a spray down. The other 3 were all headshots in at that spray. Doesn't manage to grab the M4. Sat there obviously looking a bit stunned for a second, or celebrating, high-fiving teammates, whatever it was. But he's not going to be too bothered as he did mow them all down, prevent that danger from developing any further. And it's a round for RECCA, I should say. I keep mixing these teams up, I don't know why. But a round for RECCA that they needed. Glows past his Molotov. Locked out by his own, though, and Frost Misty is close.
Oh, actually, Glow's completely blinded out. Will still get the kill, so I believe he was half blinded. Bentek gets the trade, but he's tagged down to 24, and that's going to always favor MVP PK. But there was no numbers on the back of that solo push, or Glow push, because solo is technically a person. And now the round slowed down.
Yes, indeed. Once again, MVP, they get a pick, they lose a pick. They slow things down to try and adapt. Bomb looks like it's considering now. Just waiting in TC. I thought the bomb was going to go banana solo, and it's going to be confused, but just waiting around to see what the rest of MVP can find. Good counter utility there from him, from RECCA as well, getting the Molotov out to slow down this push as we tick by a minute left on the clock. MVP have pretty much fully committed to this A side right now. If they move too much further, they will not have time to rotate. It's going to be, what, 3 flashbangs, a couple pop flashes in. Perry's looking to throw one out of apps.
This is a lot to Rose you. There's 3 apartments. This is going to be so difficult for him to hold
Yep.
off. So this is trying to get information, though, so they can actually kind of read what's going on. And Rosie actually rotated off too early because they're actually coming out of cops now. He's making a double peek now, and he's going to spray down 1. He's trying to transfer it on towards Perry, but Perry gets the better of that extended duel. And the bomb still doesn't cross, though, which is going to be problematic because they got to cross an open space where Sis is locking down. But the longer time ticks away, he does have to check a 6, and that means that Solo can pounce. Excurate won't be able to hit the flick. Down to 15 seconds, it's going to be planted deep. They know where Perry is, they know where Solo is, but what can they do?
Excurate and Bentet in the 2 versus 2. Bentet is low. Excurate looking for this pick. What a peek from Solo. Goodness me. Now Bentet left all alone. Should have a good idea of where both players are playing from. You can see him checking pit. Knows one should be back sight. It's pretty much the exact same setup they had the last time they were in this 2v2. And Perry's going to peek out, get the kill. We'll be able to... No, doesn't want to grab the AWP. Could have grabbed the AWP, but doesn't. Makes it 8 rounds for MVP as they take the half, showing no signs of slowing down. Buy will be coming in from RECCA here. I'm not sure how good it will be. I'm not exactly sure where their economy is.
It's a decent one.
There you go. It's not bad.
You're going to get M4s. You might be able to get the AWP after, I think, Rose, you did have enough money. But so far, the AWP has had 0 impact whatsoever. You might as well keep the rifles. And similarly for MVP, I'd say that the AWP, I'm not even sure if Solo's picked up the AWP earlier on. He's had one round where he's gotten a kill with the AWP, and that's about it. It's just, for MVP's playstyle at the moment against RECCA, where RECCA are playing so passive, you don't really need to utilize the AWP. And they've recognized they just go for the AK, and Sis will get 1, will get 2 through the smoke. And the dude managed to take down Bentet. The bomb is still lost, and it's still continuing on. Sis once more. He will get another one. And now it's all up towards Zeph. They just dilly-dallied towards top mid too long, and now he's just all by himself at closet. Sis, you can see he's looking for the 4th. It's a good spray transfer, and that's what you want the A4 for.
Exactly, you can't spam like that with an A1. As we'll run out of ammo as Zeph has been caught out by Excurate. Another kill with the FAMAS for him. We'll be able to upgrade to an AK as well. It's 2 AKs that are saved. And a good round there for RECCA as they halve MVP's score. It's been, despite the score, and this has been a very back and forth map. It's just that RECCA with that, or MVP with that 6-0, 7-1 sort of start, they got themselves in a good spot, even though RECCA are now coming back into this one swinging.
Yeah, the start was great from MVP, where RECCA may have just been a little bit too lax, and they go, all right, we'll chill out for a bit, let's see what they're doing. And MVP just came really just ferociously hot. They just went, all right, we're not pulling any punches here. We want to get in towards the finals. And Glow is going to open it up on towards Frost Misty. The triple stack not working towards Nana because there's just been no damage. The gun's been lost, and Excure is just by himself at the moment. He has to play very risky to try to secure the Nana position. He's going to throw the gun out of the map and retrieves himself an M4 instead, which is probably the inferior rifle.
Yeah, I was going to say I would have thrown the M4 out there, but got to do what you got to do. At least the T's can't grab that gun. At this sort of range, the M4 is going to be just fine, especially against this no armor. It'll work out fine for him. He'll be able to retreat for his teammates. That was not a kill there somehow. He still sees them jumping at logs. Instead, they're going to fall back. Doesn't want to play that one. You don't really need to give up that much sort of territory, I guess. And you don't want to give the MVP T's any more kills than they already have. They've dinked him down as well. Just 18 HP for Excurate. Need his teammates to come and help him out here.
I'd say no at the moment. They've had to float Bentet over early on, but the longer this round bleeds over for, MVP can just play it slow. And they're doing the right thing, just playing time. They can wait, utilize the back of the P250s. It's not a one round yet by any means, but they put themselves a good step in towards winning a round, which was initially very difficult. Frost Misty gave him a great chance when Glow was able to get the initial pick, and now Excurate dinked out. He has to go big, but there's a lot of shots missed from both sides, and Bentet's able to clean up, and the bomb's been lost, so there you have it. Glow, he has to go chance, and Bentet's not going to give him the chance. 4 kills for him. MVP will buy in this round, but they're going to be lacking a lot in utility, it feels like. They're just going to be missing a few flashbangs or Molotovs they would have liked having, but it's not going to change their overall attack plan.
Bentet sitting up on 16 frags already. It's the sort of numbers we expect to see him putting out. This is his last event with RECCA, and he's been playing with Tyloo, so as the analyst highlighted at the start, there is a few question marks as to how he'll fit in, or at least there was at the start of the event, but he's showing us that he's not really had an issue here so far.
I would have said
it's all clicking head.
I would have said he would have no issue fitting in, just looking at how he plays towards Tyloo. I can't remember if Mitch or Stu mentioned it, or even Sniper, where they just go, he's a lurker. You execute 4 people as a team, and you just allow Bentet just go do his own thing. It's not like he's a feeling like Aussie as well. Bentet played with these guys for a very long time. It's just going back into a well-oiled system once again.
And teamwork aside, Bentet's going to flick heads no matter what. Oof, that was a very good peak, though. Excurate tag down 24.
That was a very slow reaction from Excurate as
it
well.
Was.
It wasn't... I don't know. It just felt like to me it was just a very slow reaction as now the attack on B side begins in earnest. Frost Misty does throw a flash from back of New Box, and well, he is isolated just a little bit, but he still takes the first duel. Rotation's just coming in now as Excurate, as Bentet gets 2 for 1, and that's that just allows a retake to be easier. But Termi and Solo still alive with the bomb not planted just yet. Great reaction. That's much better from Excurate. He's been a little bit quiet so far in the CT half and Inferno, and now Termi has to go on the aggression to see what plays he can make.
Just over 30 seconds remaining. If they keep open picking him like this, he could get something. But Excurate looking for the shot, goes too far. Jumps up, there's a chance for Termi, but not as Sis is there to shut it down. Should be able to get over and grab that. Oh, no, not
Also
quite.
been lost. It was too far away. See, I calculated it.
Oh yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Should be Rocket League caster, mate. Calculated?
It was 2 seconds. Like, you have 2 seconds after death, so a lot of the time, you can't sprint that fast.
You know, I understand, but I wanted to make a Rocket League joke and you shut me down. Either way.
Yeah, we're casting Counter-Strike. We ain't kicking balls, mate.
RECCA out here trying to kick
Stomping.
goals, though, making this an 8-7 half.
This is a really good comeback from RECCA, whereas for MVP, it's kind of like a
They slowed
bit
down.
of a...
Oh, that was better.
Was there a smoke at the back of that aggression? Because Excurate, if he just did that, it was pretty ballsy. We did see Solo do that earlier on, so...
I think he pushed through a smoke and it popped as he got there. Something like that.
Because if you're peeking that angle and you're exposing yourself to bottom mid, that's just a severe risk. I'm not sure if there was a smoke actually covering it or not. Regardless of the situation, I mean, we've seen both teams actually try to make that second mid pick. If only Excure actually makes it work out, and the numbers advantage goes in the favor of RECCA. It's all UMPs at MVP. Like, they don't really have much more in Solo. Actually does not have any armor, and Glow still managed to get 1 pick. Sis just has to stay alive, wait for the rotation to come through. Solo has no armor. Sis missing the first couple of CZ shots. We'll be able to calibrate. And knows where Glow is. And in the end, just through the edge of the diggity box. Or through sight box. Gets the headshot. And a respectable half from both sides.
Much better for RECCA, though. I mean, sure, they end up 1 round down, but considering they were 7-1, to come back to 7-8... Wait, 8-7. I flipped those scores around when I said that. But either way, to come back that far, they did really, really well. It was a very good comeback on their CT side.
And it was a good start for MVP as well.
It was.
MVP PK like started off really, really well, and I think RECCA eventually managed to catch on to a few things. They started adapting towards the playstyle, and now it's going to be the interesting part, because how well will RECCA adapt towards the aggressive playstyle of MVP PK? Watching MVP like half excites me and half tilts me sometimes, because it half excites me because I'm like, yeah, this is good Counter-Strike because they're just pushing. They just go full YOLO mode and just push and just get kills. And it's just something sometimes you just can't fathom why they're doing it. And then sometimes they do it and it's like, why did you do it? It's an eco. They're just barreling up Nana at the moment. Rush B, no stop. And they're stopping. Because Excurus on the other side of the map will pick off Solo, who was trying to get some map territory. And now RECCA have the numbers advantage. They're coming back towards A site.
Glow hears this. He's called it to his teammates. Excurate moving in. Can't quite find this shot. Neither, though, can Glow. Trying to dance around and find himself a favorable engagement, but he only has so long, in which is a one-on-one anyway. Zeph eventually helps him out. Drops Excurate. Glow now inside of the side. Has a chance for redemption if he can hit some heads here, but still no. Can't quite find these shots. This is awkward shooting on all behalf. There we go. Finally, someone gets a kill. Good turn from Perry, but now he needs to find it all. 1 versus 3. Make that 1v2. He's looking for these shots. This is doable for him. No kit, though, so he's got to be pretty quick, or else this bomb will go down.
Fairly was a
Gets
kit
shot
lost
up.
in Graveyard, but he died, so it's not needed.
Doesn't really matter. RECCA make it 8-8. Well played by them.
AK out for Rosyu, and should just be SMGs and the rest of the fellowship.
The Fellowship. The Fellowship of the RECCA.
Will be good to see MVP. I want to see what Solo gets. He might have been dropped a pistol because I don't think he bought that 5.7. It was a few drops from someone. I don't know who dropped the 5.7.
Yeah, I think he did have it dropped. It's a
Who would have dropped it? No one could have afforded it, so maybe he did buy it at the end of the day.
It's a different color, and I remember seeing something about that being an intentional thing in the UI, but then Valve said it might have been a bug. So who knows? Either way, he's got a 5.7. No,
Nah, Perry's dropped it. So.
Thank you. I should have looked at that a little bit sooner, but there you go. Perry drops a 5.7 over, so Solo can save for the big green gun a little bit faster. A lot of SMGs out for RECCA here. Wanting to get in there and mop the players up, mop the CTs up with those. It's an A-side stack for MVP anyway.
This is the exact identical stack.
It's only Solo on the B site.
This is
Doesn't
the
matter how much you
exact.
invest.
It's the exact
Solo's
identical stack.
rotating.
And
They've
RECCA
made-
no.
They've made no sound, and Solo already wants to go. Look. All right, guys, I'll come join you. I'm scared over here on the B side. They're coming this way anyway, but he doesn't want anything to do with this. Going to get flashed out. Does avoid it, but he hears the noise. He knows they're all here. His teammates are on their way, but it's not going to be quick enough. Bomb already going down at the coffins. Surely nothing for MVP to do here.
Might just save and take the 5.7s as well as armor to the next round. Don't want to be losing guns. You can still do a lot of damage, and I think Solo just looking to get an exit towards Church or towards construction if he can find anyone that's checking towards sandbags.
he doesn't have armor, and he didn't buy his gun, so fair enough. He wants to try and get himself.
It's a very
extra
oblique
hit.
angle. It doesn't matter if he dies, because he just goes, 1-for-1 is going to work out well, but they check it anyway and pre-fire it, so sorry, Solo. No chance this time. Still trying to get picks off, but it's not going to work out. And after they clear off CT, if Rosu actually exits by himself towards TE spawn, like, that's a really bad mistake, but he's just going to wait around. That's like... It's like a slight misstep, because if MVP actually did push on the back of it, could have found themselves an AK.
And the only good gun that the RECCA had at the time.
UMP's a great gun.
Well, the only rifle they had at the time. They could have just come through and nicked the AK for themselves. But no such luck. They decided not to push Banana as RECCA.
Do you just assume that the UMP is not a rifle? How dare you?
Did you assume my weapon class?
Yeah, you assumed. You said that's the only rifle. You didn't ask the UMPs. So it's you in the wrong now.
I will have a meaningful chat with the UMPs later. For now, it's Rosu getting up with that AK, finds himself 2 kills everywhere on the map. It's Excurate and Bentet chiming in with the others. Bentet actually finds 2 there, nicking one of them from Excurate. But quick round. Quick round's a good round. MVP get closed out. Now they can buy. Solo is onto the AWP that he's been saving for since he got dropped at 5-7. The rest of his teammates do have rifles. All of them.
All of them. But hang on. They could also be SMGs or other classes. You can't assume that as well.
They all have
we're not.
rifles.
I should not try to engage into these games because it's just. It feels like I'm wearing down on your soul as Zeph is going to be blinded out.
They don't check it. They don't check it.
It doesn't matter. He dies. It's a 1-for-1. Glow's still there. So is Solo actually. They've got a good wrap, but that's good reactions from Excure and. Now Solo coming in with the AWP. Hello, Benset. Hello, Frost Misty. No, Solo barely misses. They know the AWP's at, so now it's down towards a 3-3. And they don't know where the other 2 CTs are.
There is 1 kit on Termi. That's the only one. Oh, Solo. Great shot.
Through the wall.
Head of Rosu. No more pit play for you, sir. Frost Misty and Excurate left alone. Solo is still very convinced there's another one in pit, and he's right. Although not quite the angle he's checking at. They actually touched the bomb. Oh, that's a leg from Excurate. That's so unfortunate for him. And now Frost Misty has to go big, and he can't do it. With 2 players alive, MVP will win the round. Will defuse that bomb inside the smoke in just a second. That's actually... Is the kit not on it?
No, it was...
Not on it. They had time.
It was Solo that had the kit. Perry just jumped on it, and Solo's just running around retrieving any utility. RECCA can still buy back up into it. But that was a great... Once again, like, MVP, they just take such good control of apartments. And, like, they take control of apartments. It wasn't flushed out correctly by RECCA, and they lose a few picks, and then that was just a 6 shot from Solo. Like, that was a wall bang and a half. It was just calculated. And that just made it into quarter 3, and that gave them the audacity to kind of go, let's push in. And Solo might peek towards second mid this round because they don't spot anything bottom mid, and there you have it.
So there you go. That's the cover. There wasn't a smoke, but he had a backup rifle there watching bottom mid for him. So that's.
It was also they deep nade it so no one can cross towards Vietnam, and they go, all right, let's go take a look now, and then let's come back.
That's what gives Solo the security to go and peek into second mid there, and he got a kill as well because that is not an angle you expect an AWP to peek you from. Usually, I mean. RECCA really should expect it now because Solo's done it a few times, but it's not something that's standard. It's not something that you usually get surprised by, so it works.
What RECCA need to do is they need to recognize that MVP PK always play aggressive towards Nana, and if they're not playing aggressive towards Nana, they always hit the AWP towards the wall. So it's down towards how well can they counter that, and if they can do that, then they gain control of B side. So they molly off the log side, but they don't check close right.
They will be checking it, I think. Frost Misty's looking like he wants to fight it. All depends on the peak timing from these 2 CTs. Termi gets caught looking the wrong way, expecting a flashbang to come. He's peeking into the wall.
Oh, Perry's in a 1 and done.
Such a good time. He can get 1 here. Almost does get a second, actually. That's Sis down. Gets way more than he should have there. As you said, it should have been a 1 and done, but it's not. And instead, it will be a 2 versus 3. Bomb gets tossed into the site for Frost Misty to put down safely. X Group going up high. Needs to find these shots.
If this boost actually goes...
Doesn't quite find it.
It's fine, because he now knows that there's 2 CTs, but Glow's still boosted up. Excure's going to miss the shot. Spray going towards new box. There's no incendiary grenade for the CTs to use. There is that smoke grenade, so they can jump on the defuse just a little bit earlier, and Frost Misty's been spotted out. Great play from Solo, and Excure's got so much work to do. He misses the first shot. They're putting pressure on towards him, but he hits Zeph. The CTs are now down.
Oh, no!
What a sick no-scope and a Solo, but Glow will clean up, and he will have time to defuse as well. No, look at that. Just cool under pressure. And now the scores are tied up once again. The AWP will be retrieved for the CTs for Solo to use once again. And the T economy is good enough just to force back up into it, but no AWP this time around unless Bentet decides to drop, but it's just going to be all rifle affair. As long as I'm assuming that AKs want to be called rifles.
How long are you going to run with that joke for? It's got a few.
I'm very careful. I'm very careful. I'm a very passive kind of person. I want to make sure that all AK-47s have their rights respected as a durably built Soviet weapon. And talking about durably built, so far Solo's been able to get these entry picks consistently once again. We saw it again, like in the first map in Inferno, and he's doing it once again. First pick, Solo.
He's also getting it by himself, so it's appropriate.
He might get a second one here as well, but what a shoulder
away. Doesn't quite get the shot onto the shoulder peeker, but he does escape with his life.
That's a land shoulder peek and a half. You do that online, you're dead.
It is, exactly. The interp will not help you. Not the interp, the lag compensation, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, they're all out of apartments, and Glow gets one, but he can't get any more, and Solo's got a lot of work to do. That is a good shot. Bentet now coming out towards Boiler, but his attention's diverted towards two locations. Zeph still coming out Boiler, but Bentet gets one, gets two. Zeph completely cooks that. And there is one more towards Diggity, and Bentet's just barely tagged. The bomb plant will still go down, and all of a sudden, it looked good for MVP PK. And Bentet missing another shot. Perry, I believe, has spotted out the pit play. He's made a lot of noise and Sist just covering towards the Diggity line for now. Has to trust in Bentet hitting this mini pit shot, and he will. He's just so aware, so glued. And all up towards Termi. He's good as well, but how good? He knows where both members are at the moment, but he can't take down the AWP pit, who's just firmly entrenched in there. And RECCA Esports once again eke out a lead, and MVP PK. Tough decision to make whether they want to eco or just buy a few pistols. They've got a double eco regardless.
Look at that Bentet score. 24 and 13, 6 MVPs. This guy's on fire right now. That's the second 4K I've seen him land in recent rounds. Playing very, very well indeed. And it means that RECCA are one round ahead on what is MVP's map pick.
I think this is going to fire up Execute as well.
It is.
Execute's not been doing too well with the AWP so far compared towards Solo, even compared towards Bentet. It just feels like Bentet's been hitting most of the shots that he's been lining up. But it's not over yet. They've gone for the full eco, so MVP might just completely force up in the next round. It won't be the best force, but it's better than double ecoing, just giving RECCA even more rounds and more money to work with. If they can take maybe even a few AKs, it'll be completely serviceable. And they are stacking once again towards the Diggity side. Just hard stacking the A side and just leaving one floating around B.
We're moving into mid now, though. Not really bothered pushing anywhere too aggressively just yet, RECCA, but now is their moment. They're going to push into the lower bracket, move towards the A bomb site. Sis gets into Boiler for free. No one really here to contest it just yet, and the CTs have been faked out and are rotating.
Yeah, it's the counter strat. So MVP's stacked it to try to counter strike.
Wasn't even really a fake. There was like, what, 2 grenades shown towards Banana, and that's enough to draw a full rotate out of MVP, which is not good. They're now going to push through Banana and flank, but
it's ultimately a gamble at the end of the day. It's fully USP'd. It's just a gamble. All right, where are they going to go? Coin toss. Oh, well, we lost the coin toss, boys. 50%. Most likely just going for exits, but they might want to just come up a little bit more. I love what they're doing, though. They're just like sitting bottom of mid, just like USB firing squad. It's just like waiting.
Peek all of us at once. It's fine. If one guy peeks, we've got him. I do actually want to see someone from RECCA peek mid now, just to see how that engagement actually turns out. But instead, they're going to smoke it off, move, exit. Actually, yeah, they've all got full HP, so they can do the full pit save. It's a very survivable position as long as you've got reasonably high health. Yeah, they're all just going to bother. I'm just going to sit in here. Busy trying to stack each other up for the furthest distance from the bomb. But they'll all be saving. CTs will be nowhere near them. There you go. They all take 40-odd damage. That's fine.
I still remember there was a great strategy. This was back in the Source days where you could actually... Because there's like limited movement in Global Offensive where you're like standing on each other's heads. But I think one team, what they did was that they actually named themselves Tank. So like each person had an initial, Tank exclamation mark, and they just moved as 5. 4 people were like the treads, and one person
on the top. That's fantastic.
I don't think the strategy worked that well, but it's just creative. as it is going to be a force bind. Solo's actually picked up the XM. That's probably the first time we've seen the XM this weekend. And once again, just fast up towards Diggity. It's a 1-for-1 for now, but Solo's been taken out. And now it's just Glow just lurking around towards apartments. We always see that lurker towards apartments, and Glow, he can go absolutely huge. Deny the bomb plant. Frost Misty's planting deep inside the site, but he's just going to wait for his teammates. Decides not to risk it. He might be able to pick up Sis, but Sis is watching towards there, does heavy damage. And the rest of the CT is now just trying to get another pick. Bentet might fall, but Perry just barely unable to pick him off with a FAMAS. And they're still dancing around.
Bentet not going to be affected by the flames. Will be staying back here in pit instead, taking a bit more of a passive angle and waiting for someone to peek him. Glow's considering it. Bentet will just wait around. The shoulder peek, or the movement, I suppose, is perfectly timed. The CT's come out positive in this. It's Frost Misty in a 1-versus-1. Still trying to fight this one, and he can't win it. Perry will grab it.
I don't think it's enough time.
No.
Yeah, and he clipped himself the edge of the box as well.
Yep. Would have had to jump on that immediately with a kit to have any chance of that. And instead, couldn't even grab an AK. Instead, just has to fall back. Survives on 2 HP. There's a timeout coming in from RECCA. Themselves a chance to think about what they've done. They did lose all of their players. They did take the round. They're 3 rounds ahead.
That's fine. They just want to go, all right, let's not get into the same situation where we're up 13-10, lose 2 rounds. Okay, we got to eco 2. Oh, okay, MVP's in the lead, and then we've lost.
Yeah.
Settle down. We'll just see, all right, how are we going to counter-strike them? Because MVP are going to do something ridiculous in this round.
Yeah.
They're never going to play standard and passive. They're always going to go, all right, we want to go in the offensive. We heard from Solo earlier on. We love playing aggressive because we feel like that fits our playstyle and we do it really well. So they're going to go on the aggression with just basic pistols as well as that save for Mars. It's just how RECCA are going to counter that. And then the round afterwards, where the buy round comes in, that's going to secure the victory for RECCA. As long as they get the next 2 over before MVP probably hit 13, they've got this round in the they've got this map in the bag.
They do. So for MVP so far, 2 towards A, 3 towards A, 2 towards B. Not getting too aggressive just yet. The important player is, of course, the rifle, which is over towards A in the hands of Perry. Quick entries for the T's mean that Solo and Termi get shut out instantly. Fast rotators coming from Glow at least, but Perry is a little bit behind him, and Perry is the only one with the gun, the only one who can really make a difference in this round. So far this one's going very, very well for RECCA.
And Bentet just spraying through, just checking all the spots inside the smoke. Will pick off Glow at no armor and no chance. And the FAMAS might just be carried over alongside with Zeph. He's just got the single flashbang. Zeph taking a bit more damage because Sis wants to go forward, but Perry's going to pay the ultimate price. And Zeph dancing around just for a little bit too long. RECCA, 14-10.
Looking very comfortable indeed. MVP should be able to pull some guns out here and try and contest things, but there we go. They will be able to buy up immediately, in fact. Oh, M4s and then AWP out. Still no AWP for RECCA, but they haven't really needed it.
It's been a losing battle, to be fair. Like, Xcurate hasn't done anything to particularly justify the AWP on the T side, and that's completely fine. Like, sometimes you're not feeling it. We've seen Xcurate, he can hit those shots. Sometimes you're not feeling it. That's all right, man. Just go back towards the AK-47.
Sometimes your team just wants to play a more rifle-heavy setup. It's just the way it works. And for now, that is indeed what it is for RECCA. And it's not like it's having a huge negative impact on them either, so why not? Termi's going to flash himself down Banana, try and clear this out. If he goes all the way, he could actually give RECCA another nasty surprise in bottom mid, but
you can see Frost Misty aware of it because
Frost Misty's aware, he checks it.
They know that MVP PK just love like getting that really aggressive control towards Nana. If RECCA actually struck at that moment, could have been a different story, but the rotation and stack now come over towards the A bomb site, and Solo's just been left towards the wall once again. It's a very similar strategy of what they've been utilizing all along. Perry playing towards mini pit has a lot of work to do, but at least on the good side for them, the Xcure as well as Frost Misty being tagged down low. A single headshot will clean them up. Shoulder picks and smoke down towards Library. Sis will get the first pick. Perry, and he can't just shoulder pick like that, but Glow and Zeph gonna have to step up, and Zeph steps up, gets 2 only. Frost Misty also pick up 2 as well. Now down towards a 1 and 2. Solo's got a difficult decision to make. Either to go in and try to be the hero, or he loses the AWP, and MVP PK have nothing to work with in the next round.
And that with the last round of the game too. If Solo loses this, it is 15 for RECCA, and it puts us 1 away from the end of the map. But Solo still looking to work into something here. 1 player in the back of the site, 1 player behind him in the pit. This is such a hard angle to deal with an AWP as well. Finds the first shot, grabs an AK, looking for this player in pit. Could do this, can't quite though. I believe Frost Misty was red HP, but it's not enough. Solo will fall in the 1 versus 1, only just, but it means that RECCA take 15, and they stand on the verge of stealing MVP's map pick away from them.
Which is a complete surprise. Oh, wouldn't say complete surprise, but given if you tuned in earlier and just went, MVP, 7-1, this is going to be MVP's map, this is going to be pretty easy peasy how they're playing. All of a sudden, RECCA just, just go, all right, boys, this is what we're going to do. Let's just take our time, talk things over, figure out how to counter how MVP PK play, and then win the game. And that's how it's gone effectively. It's just, they played smart. You can see how disciplined they're playing towards Nana right now. They know that MVP PK love playing aggressive assist, taking a lot of damage from a spreading Molotov. And AWP shots going through the edge of the wall. Perry is pushing down, gets one, but can't get the second. They've lost Nana control. This aggression just means that the B side's just been open just like that. Just depends if they get the smoke in time, which they will. And they'll just slow things down.
Solo's here, but locked out by, ooh, it's a really bad smoke, so he can see past that, potentially go in here for a pick, and he will. Can't win against Bentet, though. That's the problem. Now it's a 4-on-2. It's not an easy round at all. The retake has to come in for Glow and Zeph here. The bomb goes down in the hands of Bentet at Coffins. There is no kit either. There is no utility. It has to all be done on aim. That's a good start. Glow finds himself Sis. Moving in through construction. Zeph has already been tagged down and killed. It's all on Glow. Going to peek into Frost Misty first, I believe, then into Bentet. Difficult fights to win. Bentet hides, and Bentet's there with the headshot. 16-10 for RECCA in map number 1.
Yeah, pretty easy win for RECCA towards the end. It was a struggle towards probably their own CT half, where MVP PK were kind of like, dictating the pace a little bit more. But once it went towards their T side, they knew exactly how MVP played, and that was pretty easy from there on in.
It was indeed. So that will be the first map. I believe we're going to go to a quick break now, but we'll be back very soon with map number 2 in this series.
Good start by RECCA here in the upper bracket final, 16-10 over MVP on Inferno. How are we feeling about that one, Pilly?
It was just a battle of the T-sides, wasn't it? Like, it was just all down to who really put it together, who was able to make better adjustments on their T-side, sort of work out. I think a good thing RECCA did is they really did really well anti-eco. They didn't throw the game too much. It was all just trading down. And the interesting thing that I'm picking up more and more watching Bentet play in this team is that in Tyloo, they'll just throw him guns and he'll just go and shoot people. But in this team, he's holding the bomb. He's like throwing flashes for his teammates. He's facilitating other people to step up and play well. And I think that he understands that, if they want to win this event and if they want to do well, that he's going to have to facilitate his teammates to step up and perform at a good standard, and he's not going to be able to do it all by himself.
And this was such a great play here by Sis, getting 3 through the smoke there. But I want to touch on the fact that MVP, they started off so well there, but all of a sudden RECCA was able to come straight back into that first half.
Yeah, it was it was a really interesting map. I think that MVP jumped out of the gates really well. They got up to 7-2 up on their T side, and they looked like they were really controlling the game. And at that point, you got to give credit to RECCA. They made the adjustments, and they were able to end up with a solid T side, and were able to close out the last couple. Solid CT side, and able to close out some of those rounds. And then on the same thing, they were able to follow up their momentum and win that pistol round on their T side. But you saw once Solo was able to get that AWP, he was able to get those early entry picks, and it looked like MVP was shoring it up and we're going to close out a good CT side. But it all comes down to that 4K from Bentet at 10-10. That is the most critical round, and that's what a player like Bentet can bring you. It's 10-10. I think it was 4v2 or 2v4 on their behalf, and Bentet ends up coming up with a huge 4K, putting MVP on eco, and then at 12-10 they had a really shoddy buy with auto shotgun and a FAMAS where they barely lost it because the guy who was trying to defuse didn't have a kit. And so that's what a player like Bentet can get you. That round just broke MVP's back in that point in the game.
How important do you think that kind of mental game or the momentum is in the grand scheme of things?
Oh, it's extremely important, especially when you come to a high pressure situation. I mean, I think we've seen a couple of things like MVP, PK. They are all veterans and stuff, but it seems like coming into this new game, the pressure might be getting to them a little bit, and they aren't able to make completely straightforward adjustments and just make the right reads all the time. They give themselves limited chances, and they really go into every game with a game plan. And if they make the wrong reads and they aren't able to adjust, it's a lot harder for them to come up with adaptations on the fly and really come up with in-game situations and in-game adjustments that work really well, instead of just coming in with a game plan and making adjustments before they even step in the server.
How do you feel about that one, Sonic? Do you think that MVP is just being outthought as opposed to outplayed?
Yeah, I think that what Pilly's kind of touching on is they've got a very static, they've got their picture of the game and like how they want to play the map, and that when it comes into it, you see that early on it really works well. But then when RECCA had their adaptation to the way that MVP were playing, they didn't have that extra gear, that change up, that change in tempo. They kind of kept banging their head on the wall and like hoping that same thing was going to work, but it just didn't. RECCA recognized their weaknesses and were able to adjust and shut that down. But MVP kind of looked like they came into the game with a mindset and the way that they thought that they could beat RECCA, but when RECCA changed the way that they were playing, that MVP weren't able to adjust and overcome that.
Some real serious discussions going on at the moment here in the RECCA Esports camp by the looks of things. We are going to be moving over onto Cobble, but before we start talking about that, I just want to touch again on this roster here for RECCA. I mean, we saw Bentet again stepping up for RECCA on Inferno.
Yeah, he played extremely well, and like I said, I mean, it wasn't only in the fragging department. He was also throwing flashes and nades. You could see whenever we had the camera on him, it's not like he was just a robot running in, shooting people. He was constantly giving directions to his team. He was constantly facilitating. So you can see him as sort of he's got the aim and he's got the brains, and he understands, how he's going to win the game and what his game plan is, and he can be somewhat of a second caller or a on-the-fly, sort of adaptation that they can use to give themselves a little bit of extra when they need it.
What do you think they're talking about right now, Sonic? It looks like they're throwing some flashbangs or some smokes.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're visualizing the map, but this is kind of really interesting scenes. This is the stuff that you can't really see. This is like the behind the scenes, and it looks like the team put a lot of respect into Binset. Like they're all kind of huddled around him and kind of look like they're really respecting what he's saying. For someone to step out of the team into Tyloo and to come back, to still like demand that amount of respect from his teammates. It looks like even during the game he's very, very vocal, and it seems like that they have a lot of respect with what he has, what he wants to say, and what his opinion is of the game.
He certainly did have a lot to say there, so we'll see whether or not that's going to help them out here on Cobblestone. Now, the last time we did see these two teams play on Cobblestone, it was 3-16, or 16-3, I suppose, in the favour of RECCA. MVP are going to need to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, it's been ages since that game, and they do practice them a lot, so there's definitely, we're not going to see as much of a blowout, I don't think, but I don't think there's any way that MVP can really come through this game with a win. We might see them get off to another good start again. We might even see if RECCA has one sort of strategy that they're very confident in, that MVP will have accounted for that and sort of thought up a little bit of a counter to that. But we're seeing, like we keep mentioning, RECCA is just more of a adaptable team than MVP has shown to be.
All right, you said 2-1 here, so this has to be the one for MVP. Do you think they're going to be able to do it?
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I just think that there's too much talent. Binset, Execute, coming into this map, it's going to be a close one. I can't see it being a blowout like that 16-3 at the start, especially on LAN. I think that MVP have been playing well, but it just seems like that RECCA has that little bit extra, that extra gear that MVP kind of is missing at the moment. And with that class of Binset, I think it's going to be a bit too much for him.
Ever the swap. Gone from the 2-1 to the 2-0 here. So, RECCA definitely looking like they're in pretty good form so far. MVP being handed their first loss of the tournament so far. But it doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to be all over. There is, of course, the lower bracket, assuming they do lose this next map or even the third map. We'll have to find out. But if they do lose, or if RECCA loses, I suppose, they're going to be dropping down and facing the winner of Team Immunity and Darksided. So there's obviously a lot of chances here. How big of a deal is that advantage in the upper bracket final going to be, though, for the team that does make their way through with a victory here? Because they do get one best-of-3 advantage in the grand final.
It's absolutely huge to have another chance to play another team, another best-of-3 series against another team, especially for a team with MVP PK where you've got a little bit more structure. Even RECCA with their coach. When you've got a team with a coach and a bit more structure, you can kind of make changes in between series to try and give yourself an extra chance to win it. Whereas where you've got Immunity and Darksided, they don't really have a coach or as much of a sort of structured adaptation that they can do in between series. But you know, at least in my experience, we've never really seen the second series out of the grand final anyway, like coming through the upper bracket and stuff like that. Like, it usually doesn't make a difference. Usually the team that makes it through the upper bracket is just the better team anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. And, well, I mean, we'll see whether or not that's going to be the case here. But having a look at some of our professional CSGO players at the moment, that's Dylan and Danny. Dylan's our media guy. Danny's our stage host, actually, for this event. And he's not very good at Counter-Strike, and he's really embarrassed now as well. Have you guys ever played Counter-Strike with Danny? I know you've played against me, Sonic, in 1v1. That didn't go very well for me. And Danny's actually even worse than me. So.
I've never had the pleasure of playing with Danny, but it looked like it was serious stuff there behind the 1v1.
Yeah, there's like this 1v1 station down in the studio there, and I think if you come tomorrow, there's some sort of 1v1 tournament. I'm shading on the details, but I don't even know if it's a thing. But you can definitely play a 1v1 down there in the studio. But enough about us here. We're going to see how the game is going to go here as well. I've had my prediction of 2-0. You've jumped over to 2-0. You've jumped over to 2-0. So let's find out how things are going to go in the game as well.
This is going to be cobble between these two teams. Kevin, we're back again. This one's RECCA's map pick. Think they can take it? Think a 2-0 is real?
2-0, always.
Well, Descol said 2-0, so...
They're wrong.
They're wrong?
It's going to be a 2-0. I'm right.
You see, the thing with that is,
Yes?
what you just said is 2-0 and they said 2-0. So mathematically, your prediction is the same.
No, my prediction's better than theirs. That's why mine is correct. Theirs is wrong. It just only makes sense.
Hashtag not all predictions. Either way, it looks like it will be MVP starting on the CT side. As is tradition, you always pick the CT side in your opponent's map. Try and get yourself.
No.
Not always, but it's become a lot more
Cobblestone?
rare. Yeah, in Cobble. It's become a lot more rare in the casting that I do, at least, to see teams pick, or when they have the choice to start on the T side. Usually it's CT these days. It used to be a thing.
No.
So much
For
anymore.
Cobblestone, you can make a justification of starting the T side.
Oh, you can. I just don't see it that much anymore.
For Cache, you can make a justification of starting on the T side as well. Even Mirage as well, sometimes where you feel like your T side is very strong, you can go ahead and just completely blast your opponent as
Or
well.
if you think you're better, you can just start on the T side and be better.
Yeah. I mean, even in, like, it's just like certain maps. Like Nuke, for example, I don't think anyone, like most people will go, I love starting the T side. Because Nuke is rough on the T side. Whereas the other ones, you can kind of like, if you have a better understanding of it, it's a lot easier as solo. Just solo holding, we'll be able to get one pick. And even as the T's are pushing behind, he's just running loops around them, really. And he's just making it look too easy. Bentet finally shuts down Solo's fun. There's an over-rotation already towards the A-bomb site. Doesn't really matter, though, because there's no members towards the B site that can really shut down any of the counter-rotation. As things slow down after some action.
Such is Counter-Strike. That said, look at Excre. He's already here, and he should get shut out by Zeph. There we go. Eventually, the shot will land. Sis is here to change out Glow, though. Makes it into a 3-on-2. The bomb can go down. 2 kills coming very quickly for the T's to make it an even situation. Termi and Perry left. Looking like they're actually going to boost up drop. Yeah, they will. They're going to boost up drops. They can come from long and in from drop again, maybe in from connector if they go out through the window. Try and get themselves 2 1v1s at best if they can. Bentet's already been spotted out, but Bentet is on a USP, which makes him very, very dangerous.
He's got
dangerous
no
with
armor.
pretty much any gun. That's true, but I believe in Bentet. He can still hit headshots here. Perry has to be very careful. Misses the first, but we'll be able to clean up on the second. Termi does find one. Awkward engagement here for both players. Reloading is Termi, and he can't do it. Bentet has to reload in turn. That was sloppy, and he's got no time to defuse the bombs. So the T's going to win anyway.
Yeah, he couldn't get the kit towards the kit in time, and might actually does manage to take the kit as well as armor to the next round. So not too bad for MVP PK. And towards the end, it was just an unwinnable situation as RECCA was able to buy so much time, and they take the first round. They do lose all their members.
It's unfortunate. Bentet, he couldn't get the kill, but he did waste enough time there that there was no defuse possible. So first round goes to RECCA. Buyout comes instantly. Bentet and Sis on the AKs. Galil out for Rosio and UMPs for Frost Misty and Excurate. So all rifles, or all SMGs, or all pistols. I don't know, whatever they feel like at the moment. But
it's a really mixed fight, because look at Termi as well. He's actually picked up a UMP, and someone's already been boosted up towards drop. It is going to be Termi with the UMP. He's just boosted up second round in, really. He's actually going to push up and can catch Frost Misty off by surprise if Frost Misty doesn't check this angle.
Grenade.
Well, Zeph catches the most of that grenade, but they're already outplat, so that boost was a nice idea, but Rosio is going to start off with 2 kills. But the 5-7 comes straight from around the corner. But the rest of it, the rest of the opposition is just going to be cleaned up. And I do like how RECCA actually picked up.
Oh,
We're
no.
just pushing
How many
through.
times do you see that?
Oh, there's pistols in drop room? Nah, that's all right, man. Why would you pick the CZ over the 5.7?
What's that? Sorry, Kevin? Were you saying something about the 5.7?
It's a good gun.
Is it?
It's
Is
the
it
correct-
balanced?
No.
No? Not balanced?
It's not
Oh,
balanced.
It's a shame. If you tried, I suppose if you put it on the handle, it'd be barrel heavy and just tip over, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Not balanced at all.
It's not very justified, I guess.
Couldn't you just leave it at the balance joke and we could move on? Pistols for
No.
MVP. Nothing bought at all. And it's a fast. It's Ben Ted going quickly, actually, with the AK-47. Wants to crack open this B-side all by himself. He's found the first kill. Looking for more. In drop is Perry. Everyone's dead. Everyone's dead. That was a B-stack. Only one kill for the CTs. Excrement not even going to put the bomb down in the end.
Yeah. It looks like RECCA trying to call for a pause, but they forgot once again. You've got to call vote. You can't type in .pause.
Got to do it through the pause menu, guys. It's like actually a timeout thing now.
Yeah.
And it's a tech pause. Oh, there we go. We just got it in. So it's tech pause again. Looks
Yeah,
like
we can kick it back and relax. I mean,
Yeah,
the CTs will have enough. I cannot remember if Solo actually bought body armor or not alongside with his weapons. If he didn't, he'll have an AWP. If he did, might be able. If he just bought a basic pistol, he might be able to afford an AWP with just maybe a single utility. And I'd like to see how Solo actually play with the AWP. So far, he was playing towards the long A position, so maybe he'll peek, maybe he'll play the danger line, and that's actually such a tight line to play. It's a good CT defensive line if he can hit his shot, and so far Solo's been shown to be quite good at defensive. It's his rifle that's covering his 6 that's going to be challenged a little bit more. Otherwise, RECCA, it's still early days, really. I don't want to like read too much into it. Pistol round, yeah, it was good play from like both. Honestly, the pistol round was like good play from both sides, but at the end of the day, it was just a little bit better from RECCA.
only just though. His MVP did get all the kills, but time.
To me, I felt like the biggest problem was they boosted one member, and as soon as that boost happened, that chews up nearly about 5 to 10 seconds of a retake. Whereas,
Yeah, it does.
hey man, you guys are already in drop. You've got the USPs. It's not like you're coming out of drop, and like even if you challenge Plat, it's an awkward angle. And Ben Tet's already aware of the flank potential. You might as well come out, get the kit as soon as possible, and try to take the duels from there. But that's hindsight, really.
Exactly. Hindsight is 20/20. It's how it always works. So not too much.
Unless you have
given.
terrible hindsight and you think you did everything perfect, then it's not 2020.
I feel like that's ego more than it's bad hindsight. I don't know. Kevin, do you feel you do everything perfectly?
No.
That's good. That means you probably have good hindsight.
No.
Well,
You can have terror. You can still have
some conflict.
You
here.
can still have terrible hindsight and still make terrible
Yep,
decisions.
that's true, but you're going far too deep into what was going to be a simple joke. So
How is hindsight a joke? You'll think this is York? You think this is York, Tim?
I don't want to say anything to you
No?
right now.
Why?
Oh, I don't know, man. You make my life more difficult than it otherwise would be. But
I'm
AWP
sad.
out, AWP out for both teams here.
Zeph picked up the AWP.
Yeah, Zeph has the AWP rather than Solo, who is on an M4. It's interesting. Obviously, it's just a... Where is Zeph playing with that thing? He's out towards B, okay. I'm not sure if it's a positional
Chicken.
thing,
Yeah, he's playing towards chicken, so just watch him be locking down that line.
but he's not going for a fast peek. So it's not a spawn-based choice. It's just Solo would rather play with a rifle, it seems. Good flashbang to force back Rosu and Ben Tet, but there's not much you can do to stop Rosu and Ben Tet, really. That's a very dynamic duo. They're making themselves known. Ben Tet going to go, or Rosu, sorry, going to go through clear out danger while Ben Tet makes some noise for him. The boost is checked very late.
That's fine, because like the CT would have been holding his fire. Cause,
Exactly.
Like,
City would have been holding his fire. So it works, but it's an amusing afterthought. Ben Tet now waiting for the peek from Solo. Solo actually wants to get aggressive here. Assist has picked up one in the meantime, and I feel like Ben Tet is going to catch Solo here. Indeed he will. Makes things much more difficult. There is one player over towards A. It's Perry moving in quickly. His teammates should be coming to join him. Zeph is anchoring the B side right now. Perry has to do so much work. Tommy's already being shot at. Tommy is going to find the first kill and fall back a little bit, but Perry can't line him up. Tommy already getting spammed at will fall as well, and really Zeph has to try and save here. He's already been wrapped on by Frost Misty.
They're
Fortunate.
deciding, yeah. They were just deciding whether or not to take 2 orbs forward, but they decide to upgrade towards the M4 instead. It's more of how MVP PK, when they try to play aggressive towards A side, if they can get like the first couple of picks and just burn off utility from RECCA and burn time, that's really good. But you can see just then, they didn't burn the correct utility. It was just like minimal usage. RECCA just cleared lines, got the first pick, then Solo had to go pushing for more information. He got picked off, and from there on in, it doesn't matter what you do as a CT side. Your A side is not just it's just not secure anymore because the T's are just out so quickly. Rozio is just gonna peek for one, gets the second, doesn't know there's one underneath him. Frost Misty at the same time will get another pick, and Termi it finally shuts down Rozio.
But that was all a distraction play that worked out very, very well as the bomb and the rest of the team are over on A. Rozio did more than his part by getting out there and getting 2 kills. Sold it for long enough that MVP are now nowhere near this site and really can't even go for it. Excurate drops Termi. That's the rifle gone. Glow will be looking to go over into the B halls and retrieve that because really what other option do you have at this point? You're not going to get the retake. You've got to try and grab yourself a gun if at all you can. But Excurate is here just locking it down. Yeah, he got the kill in the first place and now he's like, nope, you want the gun? Too bad. You're going to have to come through me.
I love to see at the moment Glow throw his pistol, jump for the weapon, and just hop out of there. But it's a very unlikely scenario.
It is indeed. I mean, I love Lex there too. That'd be nice. But Glow instead just going to be holding here.
Oh, he's waiting until the last 2 seconds to try to catch him off guard, but it's not going to work out. Oh, it actually does work out. Oh, I would have thought Excurate was going to hit that.
Yeah, I would have thought Excurate normally would hit those too. I mean, I guess he was going for the bomb explosion, making a bit of a distraction, masking some sound, and also, you know, it's just a
like
bit of a sensory overload type deal. But
it's like the changing of the dawn, where
changing of the dawn,
or whatever they call it, where
guard?
Changing the guard at dawn,
Yes,
whatever it is, because like the stand 2 stuff, because
yes.
if you don't stand 2, then it spells bad times, and Solo will get the first pick, but he's not going to be able to make it out of there, and Glow, this is just problematic at the moment, because they can just come and take this place by numbers. No, they don't. Rozio's going to fall. Excurate gets 1 pick, Zeph comes in and joins the party, and Glow actually gets 2 kills at the end of the day, so it's all up to Frost Misty, who's coming in from long A. He's made a lot of noise, but they don't know where he is until Zeph spots him out.
Oh.
Zeph misses a shot.
That's a sitter. As we refer to in cricket, that is a sitter. That one just fell into his pocket and he couldn't take it. But it doesn't matter. Does get 1 kill in the AWP. Ooh, the AWP isn't saved. That could be a thing, but MVP will take a round.
They still buy one though. Glow had enough cash to do so. Drops it towards Zeph, and XM goes out on the ground for Solo.
Beautiful.
Gotta love the XM.
Love me some XM. Works well.
XM 1014.
I can assume he's just going to be pulling a Davey and playing close broken wall on B. That's the only one of the only spots
either close broken wall. You can play it towards long A as well because he's a long A player. It's very, very potent. Yeah, he's just solo long A at the moment.
Yeah, he is.
And it's going to be a B site stack, which is the correct read because there are more members towards this B site. Deep Molotov. Zeph still very, very fascinating playing aggressively, but that Molotov just touches the edge of the smoke and doesn't do much.
Not too much. Drop looks to be the play for RECCA at the moment. That's a really good grenade. Does a lot of damage. Excellent work by Perry. Now they're up there as they're spamming through. They're going to go there anyway.
I'm just wondering if they're going to actually get Excurate down there, because I've seen this, Optic do this a lot with Mixwell. They get the AWP down there and just challenge a B plat line, and it's a really, really easy pick as well. Solo, though, and Zeph will pick up 1 apiece, and Frost Misty lurking towards the other side. One will try to sneak through, but Glow, aware of the danger potential, and now it's all to Bentet after Perry does peek towards drop once again. I guess the only reassuring thing for Bentet is that he's on full HP, but otherwise...
And also that he's Bentet.
That said, though, MVP PK more than ready for the challenge, and there you have it. Zeph watching the smoke, and Bentet did not have a flashbang or did not pop the flash to allow him to escape, and there you have it. MVP PK have strung together a few rounds. RECCA Esports, I believe this should be coming towards the end of their pockets. Indeed, there is a UMP full stop.
Not a
It's
whole
still...
lot, though.
It's still hairy for both sides. I mean, a single round can kind of swing the next 2 rounds, and this is one of those rounds where it's like, money really depends on this one.
Money is such an important thing on Cobblestone, as it is on really on any map, but on
If you
Cobblestone...
go with 5.7s or Tech 9s, what's money then? You just force up every single round.
Well, it's like...
Dark side of...
Maybe if we were back in the R8 stage.
Did you ever, so the dark side of old, right? So going on a little bit of a tangent here, the dark side of old always used to just like force up pretty much most rounds. They just get Tech 9s in, then they lose the buy.
Yeah, no, it's not ideal. If you're envious of last year, it can work. But not even envy of last year. We are on quite a tangent here. Either way, both teams do have a serviceable buy. It's double AWPs out for the CT side. Zeph and Solo with those. I'd love to see Zeph go for this wallbang here. Of course, he can't know what we know, but you can shoot straight through into drop there. And I've seen it done a few times. Not often.
This is going to be very difficult to execute. There's only a single smoke grenade for RECCA to use, and they're going to have to kind of chance it towards drop once again. So they're going to have to use maybe a Molotov towards a particular side, then a smoke towards flower bed, and then just try to get through E-box as fast as you can. You can't really place pressure on Plat well because the flashbangs. Okay, there you have it. The flash has actually pushed off Zeph, so they've been actually really successful on that. And Perry tries his best, but the B side has been lost.
Solo wanted to go in through the smoke there, but got tagged by a bullet and thought, you know what, I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to move my teammate instead. An excellent shot from Xcura to lock him out. Now it's all on Glow, and Xcura's going to close them all out by himself. Great round for RECCA on the Cobble.
Yeah, I was a little bit scared at the moment, like in that strategy, because they lacked maybe a single smoke grenade, which would have been good towards B-plant, but the blanket of flashes just meant Zeph couldn't do anything until the Ts were up too close. And it was too late. Isolated by a Molotov. Flashbangs just blinded, and I don't know, it's just, I swear for like 5 or 6 seconds, he couldn't see anything but white. And now they're just on the full eco, where RECCA has just kept so many guns into the next round as well. So they've kept 3 guns forward, still have the AWP and Xcura as well. So it's a good start for them in their T side.
It is indeed. Be reasonably happy with this. They're all flooding down drop very, very quickly. Rozu does get flashed out, but it's only default pistols with the exception of Solo here waiting for them. Xcura got his own pistol out, having to go with that thing. Tomi's close when AWP drops the bomb. He can make something of this. If you could have hit that flick, maybe there could have been a chance, but it's Solo with a deagle on the flank in a 1 versus 3. He's got a kit, but I can't imagine they'll allow him to ninja, especially with the amount of utility they still have in their pockets. That is 5 flashbangs, a smoke, and 2 Molotovs. Basically everything you need to delay a defuse for as long as is necessary. And even before they get to use all that, I imagine Sis is going to take this kill right here as soon as Solo shows his face. Actually going to wait for an exit here, but that Molotov is excellent. See you later, Solo. Nothing you can do. Sis with the read forces him out. Rozu tries to commit to get the deagle. Don't think he actually got it.
No, he's
he
got
did.
the deagle.
He did. There you go.
He's got the
Hello,
Daggett
chicken.
Eagle.
Hello, chicken. Good job almost ruining
That's
the-
not a chicken, that's a
ruining the
duck.
camera angle there, chicken.
That's a duck.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a duck.
All right, well, Duck, I'm glad you got in frame. You're famous now. I'm going to name you Terrence.
Terrence the duck.
Yes.
That looks like a chicken.
Yes.
Who was following you for 239 seconds before she was killed. Hey, true story, but
Chicken
MVP.
IRL.
MVP are going to buy into this round. They do have the AWP as well as rifles, backing that up, whereas for RECCA, Sis is taking a little bit of damage trying to get aggressive. They're going to line up for another B-side execute with just Frost Misty lurking towards the other side. Just waiting for these smoke grenades to bloom.
Molotov
Flashbangs as well.
As well.
There's one close, and it's just going to be a fake. And Solo actually taking down Rose. That's once again like the line I was talking about. So he takes down Rozu through like the danger line of Solo.
Through the
Yes, do it.
Do it. Please go through the smoke. Like, no scope all of them. That'd be beautiful. He's instead going to wait, but Xcura is going to be so blindsided by this. Solo decides to go back towards danger instead. He could have been a massive thorn in their side, but he also could have died, so we can't really talk about it. But instead, it's opened up a massive opportunity for his teammates. 2 frags come in, making it a 4 versus 2. Bomb down in the site. Not an easy recovery for the Ts at all. That's a good frag for Sis. He needs to find some more here, though, and Ben Tet has just made himself known, breaking that panel. He's being picked out as well, can't see anything, and now it's all on Sis, who can't get it done. There's another round for MVP. Another round that they sorely needed as well, as they still trail by 4.
And that was just a good round from
Right.
MVP because they were able to just get that first.
Hello, Terrence.
Because they were all up towards that B site where they were getting like, you know, up aggressing close, and it's like, yeah, they just like threw grenades and ran away. It's going to be on A site. So they could get the early rotation across. There was no one to really sell that all was a B site fake. They just threw grenades and just booked it out of there and just hoped that MVP would fall for it. And didn't work because there was one close.
Didn't at all. Now, though, there is a buy-up for both teams. MVP have managed to get themselves some guns together. They've got a couple AKs in that lineup as well.
Oh, that's a good Molotov because you'll at
Very
least
good
hear a
Molotov.
few ticks if it...
That's a good pair of Molotovs. The other one for close B holes was too high, but does a lot of damage.
But you don't need to...
It doesn't matter about
Molotovs are good.
Molotovs when they just run through them and enter you all. It's unfortunate. 3 versus 4, though. Perry playing down close to the wall. Looks to find these kills, but Ben's had too sharp. It's all on Glow. He's already been shot at from everywhere. The flank is good from Frost Misty. 4 players alive for RECCA.
Yeah, they've actually traded a UMP for an AWP, and a timeout has been called because MVP PK most likely do not have enough cash to buy in this round. They're debating whether to force or whether to just buy a few pistols. But this is starting to look a little bit brutalizing. MVP PK trying to do their best, but RECCA is just going, all right, we lose one round, we'll just go back towards what's working B side. Let's go, boys.
It's all on the B site. Push works out quite well for them indeed. So now there is a chance for MVP to have a think about what it is they want to get done in this map. But so far they are 5 rounds behind. RECCA 1 map up in this best of 3. So taking Cobblestone would put RECCA straight through to the grand final tomorrow and would drop MVP into the lower bracket along with the rest of the teams in this tournament. So this is a double elimination best of 3, so no one is eliminated after today, but tomorrow morning the eliminations will begin. We'll end up with 2 teams in the grand final who will be potentially joining RECCA at this point, but it's not all over yet.
Yep, so RECCA Esports just going to be barreling up towards A site. And they're already straightforward in. Just USPs just chipping away, just doing some damage, but otherwise just going to be clean up from here on in. I mean, what can you do with USPs? You have to chance to get 2 headshots, and at the very least, Excurate dies, and the AWP might be lost if no one gets to it in time, and no one will get to it in time. Oh,
Ooh, yeah,
okay, that was a little bit risky. It was down
dangerous.
towards the last half second, but they will be able to retrieve the AWP. And it is going to be a force buy from MVP because it's going to be 2 UMPs and AWP, and then an M4, and I don't know what Perry's going to get. Another UMP.
Maybe some chicken. Something I want to point out as well in these anti-ecos is have a look at Excurate. The first frag he's got in both of the last rounds against the full eco has been with the CZ. Doesn't bother with his gun. He's like, nah, they got pistols, I got a pistol. Let's do this, boys. Doesn't care at all. And it works, so who am I to talk? The buy is not good for MVP. They've got themselves an AWP. They've also got 3 UMPs and an M4. I'm not going to bother identifying them into a weapon class. I know you'll just rag me for it.
No, I won't rag you anymore.
You say that, you will.
It's like a joke. Once you can beat it 3 times in a row maybe earlier on, but if you do it for 2 maps and if it's not a really good joke, then there's no point doing it. As Tim is just going to promptly die next to me.
I'm okay. I'm alright. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Frost Misty just thinking about peeking the corner. He will be actually peeking Get Zeph, so the AWP's been lost. What a peek from Frost Misty. They will be able to retrieve it. Now it's in Termy's hands, and Termy's going to peek the line, but it's not going to work as well because Frost Misty gets another one. And then Glow, he's trying to come in, but a 1-for-1 means that Perry has to go pretty spicy here. And unfortunately, it's not spicy enough because Frost Misty is just going to cool it right down.
Doesn't bother to grab the AWP, but they already have 1, so who needs 2 on the T side? That would be...
Look at Frost Misty. He's got a biggest smile on his head. He just completely ripped 2 AWPs, just like that.
Like, you have a sniper rifle, I have an actual rifle. The sniper bit, as I will teach you, is unnecessary. 10 rounds to 3. RECCA looking very, very good so far, but by no means finished with this. They don't want to give MVP any chance to get back into this one. They want to secure their place in the grand final of the Zen League Season 1. Good Molotov usage as well. Solo has the information, but RECCA moving very, very quickly. I can't imagine there is too much they'll be able to do. But look at this. All 10 players touching each other all in the same place pretty much. Solo's on the flank. Here's Sis looking for the cleanup. Only finds 1. The rest of his teammates should be okay. There we go. Bentet finds 2 to bring us back to some normality. Glow is already getting tagged by everything under the sun, and those things over it. Great shot on the Rosyu. Makes this interesting. Grabs an AK for himself, but Bentet is already here looking for the kill, and of course, he's going to hit it. 11 rounds to 3 as we go into the last one of the half.
And MVP will have enough to buy him in this round. A double AWP now coming out, which is odd because this is the first time I feel like out of most Asian teams they've actually opted to buy 2 AWPs, which is normally what you see CT teams do when they're falling quite early on. They just go, all right, let's just get the double AWP set up. It's a very expensive upkeep, but let's get it done. They've waited until the final round to do it.
Yeah, normally, and from what we've seen the rest of today, when we have had a double AWP set up, it's been 1 bought and 1 saved. We haven't seen too many double AWPs actually invested in, so it's interesting, and especially considering they've waited this late. Oh my goodness, there is a player out. It's Rosyu already. He's charging in, spots out the player behind the rock as well. Great shots from the AWPs, though. This is what they need in this round to keep them alive. Frost Misty dancing through the smoke will get found out by Perry. This is much better from MVP. A little bit too little too late is the best they can do as an 11-4, but hey, a round is a round.
Yeah, anything to kind of close back the disadvantage is better than nothing, and Excurate's making a play. I think he has spotted out the edge of the barrel, so he knows where he is, and so is Zeph, though, and Zeph just dancing around well around the rock, and Solo from Chicken is going to clean up.
2 kills for both the AWPs. That is exactly what you want for a double AWP. It's a shame they brought it out so late, though. Maybe if that was how successful it was going to be, maybe they could have brought it out earlier, but that's the thing. With a sample size of exactly 1 round, the double lot worked in that one. Maybe it wouldn't in the next one. It's impossible to call, but at least...
It's kind of like the surprise factor, where
at least they get something.
Where RECCA wasn't expecting the double lot setup,
Not at all.
so, and that works kind of towards the final round, because it's the final round where, you know, you're down, you're not really just out of it yet, but if you do lose that one, you know, the 12-3, 11-4, we're splitting hairs with 1 round, but it's really the difference between, yeah, if you lose pistol, it's already match point, and you lose pistol, at least you have a semblance of making a comeback from 14-4. It's still going to be difficult. Pistol is going to be a great way to start for MVP PK for the comeback train, but RECCA, it's their own map pick. You got to feel like they're just a little bit too strong at the moment.
You'd think so. They've got a lead, well, a massive lead. They're up 11-4. You'd think RECCA aren't really the kind of team to choke away a lead that big, especially the RECCA we've seen. Of course, they may not have to choke it away. MVP might just steal it from them, but this pistol round going to be all important for both sides here. Maybe not so much for RECCA. Well, speaking of RECCA, Excrete's already on a flank and has been dinked for his trouble. Has to fall back as the play is connected to A from the CT. Sis is in a lot of trouble here. He's about to have a very nasty surprise, which is 5 Ts coming his way from B.
Yeah, but there's a lot of damage being done, and now Solo does fall. He did have the kit, I mean, the bomb, but Bentet's also going to join in the party, and all of a sudden, it's a big shutdown. Parry, he won't be able to replicate his heroics on Nuke, because Bentet just goes, nah, you can have body armor, you can have a Tech 9, but
you can't have a head.
USB headshot with no head armor.
And that means that RECCA will take 12, putting themselves only 4 away from closing this one out. So potentially, by the time we get to the gun round, it'll be RECCA on 14, really.
Barring that, obviously, RECCA drop
an anti-eco, which they...
This one, can you really call it an anti-eco when Ts have...
Tech 9s. It's an anti-full buy, really, when there's Tech 9s on the board.
I just guess it's like buy versus force buy. That's literally it.
It is. Well summarized. Down drop, that's He's go. Frost Misty gets some damage onto 1 and a grenade out as well. Here's Bentet looking to clean up on the side, 2 with the FAMAS before being flanked. Very quickly evaporating is this round for MVP, and they all die. Only 2 kills.
And Bentet picking up 2 with the M4. They're keeping the M4 up, only losing the FAMAS, which isn't too bad. An MVP full eco round just to try to benefit their economy. As RECCA will just be looking to try to build into the bank account of this round. They should recognize that MVP won't be doing anything outlandish. They can play a little bit more aggressively. But this is where it starts spelling. This is where it starts spelling. Oh, you know, you wish for the best for MVP. You honestly wish, like, all right, these boys, you know, they can make a comeback, but it's just so difficult.
Well, this is the situation we had with Darksider versus RECCA. It's like, we want them to come back. For the sake of a competitive game, we'd love these games to not be shutouts. But when RECCA is on this sort of form, what are you going to do? You can only have good wishes for so long when one team is just completely doming the other, and these UMPs are just sharp. Admittedly, it's a full Glock round, whatever. Like, no one really cares, but still. The kills come through. Nobody dies on the side of RECCA. 2 for Sis, 3 for Excurate. That's what you want. Good bit of money. Now only 2 rounds away. Are MVP going to... No, okay. I was worried there a second when they hesitated in buying. They were going to double eco and play for overtime for some reason, but no.
They might have been looking at the money to see if they can afford Solo and AWP, or maybe even Zeph and AWP, but... No. It's just going to be ACOs.
It is. So
I think it might have been a serious debate, because there might have been one person had enough for like just AWP and no body armor afterwards. And Excurate's got the AWP trained down a long angle, and they're going to cross straight into it. And Excurate goes, thank you very much. There's a reason why they call me Excurate.
I'll take that every day of the week. Excurate because he's accurate with a crosshair, or in this case, a crossed sniper. I don't know what I'm going for here. Either way, potentially only 2 more rounds left in this matchup, especially with Excurate hitting shots like that. We flashed out here and almost finds the timing anyway. Will escape with his life. Sis is here for backup. Spots out 1, goes for the spray, drops the bomb. Info given up, but gets flanked out from danger. Excurate still doing work here. My goodness, he's on 3. That was dirty. Can't quite find the 4th as he dies in his own Molotov. A fraction too aggressive, but Solo now has the AWP.
Can we get some 1Gs in chat?
No, we cannot.
What?
No, Kevin. No. Solo with the AWP in the 1 versus 3. It's definitely a gun that he's comfortable with. You have your hands on your hips and you're not happy with me. I'm sorry about that, but Solo has a lot of work to do.
I don't think he can really do it. He's got the AWP. Maybe he can isolate it towards a few one-on-ones, but RECCA just going to be playing passively and just waiting for him to cross. There is going to be Bentet just watching towards that stable wall. And Solo scoping in. Spots out Bentet.
About to get flanked out. There's a player on A side.
There's just a net effectively just encroached upon him, and Frost Misty going to clean up with the FAMAS. It's just going to be Tech 9s, maybe even a few UMPs if MVP PK are a little bit lucky, but RECCA Esports looking to take this 16-4.
looking very much like that indeed. And it would be a very, very strong showing from them, considering it was a 16-2 and a 16-8 against Darksided in their LAN debut here. Now RECCA have themselves a 16-10 and looking for a 16-4 to close it out. Very, very dominant Counter-Strike all day. It's only 5 kills at the end of their way, 3 Galils, 2 UMPs. Expert's looking for the first peek into mid as well. Not quite going to find it. Will instead back out with the help of his teammates. But it's not an easy round at all, and there's so far to go for MVP, even if they win this.
Yeah, they are going to be jumping up. Their AWP has been spotted out, and they do manage to cross safely. And this looks like it's going to be a wrap on towards the A bomb site. They do manage to breach in towards drop. They get the first 2 picks on towards B site, both Termi and Solo teaming up to take down Bentet and Frost Misty. So still a little bit of life left in MVP PK. Unless this goes huge, but he's going to be smoked off and just blocked by the smoke grenade. As everyone knows, a small smoke grenade makes you completely immovable. You cannot run past it.
No, because why would that make sense? 3 versus 5 now. The read is good from RECCA. They know that this should be coming towards the B side, and Excurate, this is a ballsy angle to play with an AWP, especially considering Termi is here and close. Excurate will just escape. Termi's going to Molotov him out to give himself a little bit of room. Excurate falls back inside the B site instead, where the bomb is committing. There is one chance for RECCA here, and that's if they can hit these shots on the entry. Good start for Excurate. Finds one, falling back, looking for a different angle. It's still a man advantage. Now it's even. Rosyu's found 2 in the back of the site, 3 versus 2. This is all of a sudden turning around. Excurate nails a shot, and now Termi will find Excurate at least. Can't find the close range shot, but 20 seconds just about left. Has to get this bomb on the floor. Wins the fight 1 versus 1. Could potentially clutch this with the 4K to save his team. But the read is better from Rosyu, and he wins it 16-4 for RECCA as they get their second 2-0 of the day.
Yeah, only had the FAMAS. What can you really do? 27 HP. You're going to have to hope for you know, Rosyu to really cake that up, and it didn't look like that. Excurate just too good towards the end, too accurate the AWP.
Was indeed. So RECCA will put themselves into the finals up against, well, a yet-to-be-determined team after we get through the rest of the elimination games for tomorrow. But that's going to be that for that matchup between RECCA and MVP. Let's go back to the analysis desk for their thoughts.
Cheers, Tim. Yeah, what a game there by RECCA, and they looked very, very pleased with themselves as well after that one, particularly Frost, Misty, and Rosyu, giving each other a bit of a, I suppose, a handshake after that one, feeling quite happy. But 16-4 there on Cobble, 16-10 on Inferno, the 2-0 secured by RECCA, 4-0 overall today. Great performance.
Yeah, they really are showing that they're the strongest team at this event. They're definitely quite well prepared. Every map that we've seen them play, they have clear tactics and a clear plan of how they want to approach playing the map overall. We haven't even really seen them have to do anything too individually targeted at the teams they're actually playing, apart from maybe where they're avoiding some of MVP's eco stacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, was there anything crazy out there for you, Sonic, or was it basically just RECCA walking in, getting some good individual aim duels and winning them?
I think it was just, it's one of those games where the score definitely lies, you know. I think that coming into those games, like MVP on the gun rounds, they looked solid, you know, but they got themselves into this situation where they lost both pistols, and every time that they were able to get around on their gun round, they'd always get broken on the next round. Like all those critical rounds where they could put RECCA in a situation that they'd be on an eco, they always lost those rounds. So like when you're constantly on your CT side, getting put onto the eco, like having suboptimal weaponry, I think there was only 2 rounds where they got that double AWP set up, which is what they were trying to go towards, and they were able to close out that last round. But, you know, like if you're coming into your CT side, you're not getting any money, not getting any consistency in linking rounds up together, it can just blow out of the water. And you saw that just the class of RECCA, being able to win those really pivotal rounds, it was just too much for MVP to handle.
So the performance that we've seen coming out from RECCA today, at least in my opinion, leads me to believe that they're going to be the team to beat, really. Well, they obviously are the team to beat, but I don't think any team is going to beat them in the final. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite hard for anyone to really come up against them and beat them. I mean, you see MVP being a team who's used to practicing against them and playing against them, and they didn't really have anything to say apart from maybe the T half of Inferno. Apart from that, they didn't really show us very much at all. And then the other teams, they're all, the Australian teams especially, are looking quite in disarray, and MVP just overall lacking quite a bit of firepower to sort of close out those kind of games or make them competitive.
Any opinions to the contrary, Sonic?
No, I think that he's kind of touched on all the subjects pretty well. I think that unless someone just has a massive day, or someone turns up tomorrow, completely turns around their form from today, I think it's going to be something of a very similar storyline as today.
All right, so speaking about tomorrow, or thinking a little bit about tomorrow, first, of course, we do have Darksided and Team Immunity. Darksided have got the history in their favour, but the last time we did see the two teams face, it was just a best-of-1. Immunity did actually win that one. So I think that one could kind of go in either way, but I'm leaning towards Darksided for this one.
Yeah, I mean, Darksided has the sort of upset potential. We've seen them, and you know, the problem is that they've played IM quite a few times, and especially it's been playing IM recently online and stuff in all kinds of different leagues and whatnot. And you know, Darksided's a great sort of upset potential team, but if IM is able to take them off some of their better maps, then it might be a more competitive series than you'd expect, and you might see Darksided sort of be a bit one-dimensional, as we're used to seeing, and IM try to abuse that against them.
Do you think either of those Australian teams is going to have a potential to beat MVP when they do progress through?
Well, it depends on what comes out of that Darksided Immunity game. I think that Immunity are a team that kind of, from what I've seen of those iterations of that lineup, they always seem to overperform versus teams that they see as a better opposition. So they always play really well as an underdog. So you think about them coming into the minor and stuff like that, they always play really well. It's actually in those situations against a team like Darksided, I think against the